Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Way ho the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
You join me. Well, hello, everybody. Hello. We are the ones in the night who will be entertaining you tonight. Okay, I can't do that the whole way through. Hello.
I was getting like an ASMR tingle. I didn't want to say anything, but
We are the Elder Brain cast. I am
Elder
Devin,
Brain.
and I will be the one tormenting the players tonight with my cavalcade of creepy Crowleys and other horrors.
Creepy Crowleys. I like it.
Yes.
I got that.
We are going to be doing a Halloween one-shot today.
Woo!
And
I get to be a player.
To be spectacular. A spooktacular, I should say.
Spooktacular?
Yes.
You think?
So,
It'll be a graveyard smash.
say it once, say it twice. Take a chance and roll the dice. Ride with the moon in the dead of night. All right. We can basically jump in, I think, unless there's any other upkeep anybody wants to do.
Don't forget to like and follow and tell people to hang out with us because it's fun.
What he said. All right. Without further ado, you all have been traveling for some decent amount of time to the Harvest Festival of Ansby, a time of joy, celebration, and feasting. But the quaint little town of Ansby takes it very seriously. Known far and wide as the single greatest harvest festival celebration in the region, you have traveled long upon the road to take part in these festivities. The purple and orange expanse of a dying sun lights up the far reaches of the horizon as you arrive to the quaint town of Ansby after a long day of travel. Small, remote, and not very much to look at, it is mostly comprised of farmers and fishermen, but does boast a small guardhouse and reasonably sized marketplace. Bordering this marketplace is the forest known as the Moorheart Thicket. A mist rolls out of the trees that slowly creeps across the ground of the festival grounds, but it is not putting a damper on any of the festivities, it would seem. Many people are going about, enacting things that they wish to do. There are many different activities, and an official up on a stage who is promoting all of the different things that can be done. You can see some having a pie eating contest, some bobbing for apples, wandering through corn mazes, and, of course, good old-fashioned dart and axe throwing. Pumpkin carving, that sort of thing. So as we come down into this festival of the harvest, who is it that we see enjoying the various things therein? Let's start with, I actually don't know what order everybody is on screen. So we'll start with the order on my screen. So we'll start with Ian.
Well, hey, man, it's me and my big pal, Ruby Roo, and they call me Raggy, and we're just here to eat. We see there's tons of pies and food and all sorts of stuff that we'd love to get into, man. And let me tell you, I don't want to do anything to do with that spooky forest, so we'll just stay here in town and just eat. Sound good, Roo? And of course, my dog talks to me, and I think I can understand the talking dog. No one else really gets what he's saying, and the dog barks. So yes, it's me and my Great Dane. This is Raggy. He is bearing quarterstaff and wearing pretty much what you see here, a green jerkin over his armor, but he is definitely more interested in the festival food than anything else.
Okay, and Mike?
Well, I am playing a silent character. His name is Spoopy, not to be confused with his brother Snoopy, of random fame. Spoopy, you spot going from kind of activity to activity, and in between activities, he's got his head on the ground and his butt's up in the air, and he's kind of crossing along the ground, standing up straight next to all the poles and peeking around and looking at what all the festivities are. Maybe spots Ruby Doo, goes over, sniffs him out a little bit, but mostly keeping to himself, keeping to the shadows.
They do dog stuff together, you know.
Yeah, Spoopy is a homebrew race that Craig actually came up with. It's called a pandeer, and so normally those would be sentient red pandas, but Spoopy is a albino red panda, so he's all white with little black splotches on his ears.
So a panda. But small.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
I think an albino red panda would be more like a raccoon in appearance.
Yes, maybe. But yeah, so he's got a white
raccoon. Yeah.
He's got a white coat of fur, but then he is dressed in a monk's attire.
All right. Jack.
Why, good evening and salutations, ladies, gents, and friends beyond the binary. My name is Integrity J. Wilkins, but my friends call me Scratch. Now, you can see from my horns that I am a tiefling. However, I will ask that you don't hold that against me. When you think about it, we are all sinners here, just looking for a good time. I've been traveling across this land as a bit of a freelance fortune teller slash spiritual consultant, and I have made my way down to the harvest tonight on this, the spookiest of all nights, in the hope of seeking out my next client. I'm just going to stroll right in, twirling my cane as I walk, and just kind of scanning the crowd, looking to see who might be in need of my particular set of skills.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Craig.
Yes, well, the individual that you see is dressed in very obvious adventuring attire with a crossbow on his back, several axes at his side, various pouches and bottles of different goods. He seems to be watching the festivities with a keen eye, and he's got kind of a very ragged appearance, big bushy, chops coming out the side. He's got a cigar off to one side of the mouth that's kind of, he's just puffing on a little bit. And his eyes are just kind of roaming. And anytime he makes eye contact with anybody, he just, yes, hello, yes, I know that you're glad to see me, Daniel Dansbury. Yes, it is me. Hello. Oblivious to the fact that nobody seems to recognize him, but he's, yeah.
He thinks he's famous.
He makes his way over to there's a little table that's they're selling some roasted garlic treats and garlic bread and stuff, and you see him kind of walk over to him. He's takes a sniff and tosses a couple coins and just takes a handful of whatever's there, just
Imagine a garlic bulb on a stick, like a caramel apple.
Completely glazed.
Drinks something out of a flask and puts the flask down. Yes, hello. Hi, yep.
Good. You've been enjoying the festival for quite some time. Over the course of the twilight hour that it is, the festival is bathed in an orange glow that complements the already changing colors of the leaves, and little flecks of purple seem to writhe their way into the scene between the oranges and dull yellows. But as the sun descends fully down beyond the horizon, the laughter and cheering rises high in the air. At the moment, darkness sweeps over the village. Only the many torches and braziers functioning as light. The ever-growing mist thickens and cascades over the festivities. A low howl echoes from all around, and shining yellow eyes flash in the perimeter of the flickering orange glow. The cheering and jeering stop as several villagers scream, and wolves with an army of bats art into the field.
That's new.
Now, this is mighty unusual. I did not recall seeing this in tonight's forecast in the almanac.
I'm pretty sure they're here because of me. My reputation precedes me. We will take care of them. Any of you around who are willing to help, I will accept it.
All right. I guess we'll start off with some initiative.
Ooh.
Wasting no time.
Oh, and the first thing I gotta look up.
I rolled a 12, Devin.
All righty.
Spoopy is the worst monk ever. I rolled a 2 plus 4.
11.
You're just being patient.
That's true.
Solid 10 for Raggy. And do I roll separate for my...
I don't think so. I think he just goes after you.
I think he's on my turn, yeah.
I think he just goes after you.
That one token kind of looks like Satine Phoenix.
Oh.
Which one?
I mean, it might actually be.
Oh, not quite, but just from like a distance, it was like,
I don't know.
No, it's not.
It does remind me somewhat, yes. Okay, wolves dart out of the trees within the mist, grab onto the frightened townsfolk, and begin to drag them away into the trees.
That's bad.
Their screams echo throughout the night. And of course, I put this in my way. Put that over there.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Bats fly in at each and every one of you, battering at your faces as you leap. As you leap into action. The bats attempt to prevent you from doing anything.
Interesting.
Okay, so does a 17 hit Daniel Dansbury?
Does a 7? It does, just unfortunately.
All right, well, it's okay. You only take 1 piercing. And does a 14 hit Raggy?
No, sir.
Okay, and I'm assuming a 5 and a 2 are a miss on all the other fronts. So,
That's correct.
But no cigar, old sport.
Scratch, you are currently have a rather large bat flapping in your face and squeaking loudly, very disorienting.
Scratch is gonna look up at the bat as it's flapping around and say, like, well, now I've heard about having bats in the belfry, but this is a bit much, don't you think? And I'm going to take out my holy symbol, a 2-faced coin, give it a flip, and I'm going to attempt a sacred flame against the bat.
The bat attempts to dodge.
That'll be a DC.
Fails miserably.
All right, I'll go ahead and roll my 2d8 radiant damage. That'll be a big 6.
It is reduced to a pile of ash as it burns in holy fire. More bats continue to soar in to replace the fallen one.
Oh.
They're everywhere. They're just flying all over the place and just kind of diving in and swooping around.
As the rest of my action, I'm going to just move over here to this person beside me and say, well, how are you doing tonight, sport? Everything okay? Those bats give you a hard time?
Wolves! Wolves!
Yes, they are. Quite those nasty little pooches, huh? This is what happens when you don't, when you cheap out on the obedience training.
Daniel.
Indeed. Thank you for your assistance. I appreciate you helping in. Excellent. Yeah,
You have been bitten by a bat.
I have been bitten by a bat. Kind of stung a little bit. I will look at the bat and... Do I know you? Are you one we've met before? If we have, you would know better than to attack Daniel Helsing Dansbury, and I will make a longsword attack against it.
Okay.
For a 16 to hit.
That definitely hits the bat.
And I am doing two-handed right now, so that'll be 10 slashing damage. I just pull it out, just like kind of up in one big swoop.
You cut that bat down.
Haha. Fly back to your master, fellow creature. Now, wolves. Let's see how you like it. I will, 1, 10, 50, 20. I kind of make my way over to, like, assuming this is like a tent kind of structure.
Yep.
And I kind of get in between them, like where the wolf is like up to the side, and I'll kind of get behind the corner and like prepare to like start to get my crossbow. Just be like, "Whose are you? Or are you? Which one do you belong to, eh?"
Raggy.
Zoink scoop! Get your own sandwiches, you bats! So first bonus action, cast Shillelagh. and I'm going to swing most of my sandwich at this bat.
Uh-huh.
This is Ultra Instinct, Raggy.
Is it a club sandwich?
Yes, well, yes, it's a club sandwich. So I'm going to use that on the bat.
Is your weapon just a comically large hoagie?
Oh, it is right now. So that's a 25 to hit with 6 bludgeoning damage.
And down goes the bat.
Perfect. For my second attack, I will direct Ruby Roo to, hey Rube, looks like that villager might be in trouble. Better go get him. And off Ruby goes. So he dashes over, or he charges over there, and he will use his maul attack. Like so. 15 to hit.
That's a hit.
So
For 11 damage, which one-shots the wolf.
Nice.
Hey.
I'm really having a hard time with the
Alright.
mental image of Scooby-Doo just running up and ripping a guy's throat out.
Yeah. It was more like accidental. Like he trips
Jack.
and like accidentally like opens his mouth and whoa.
Jack.
Whoa.
Did
Yeah.
you just use your imagination? This is that kind of game.
I'm not saying I can't
Imagination.
imagine it. I'm just saying that's all I'm going to think about now. This is going to be my sleep paralysis later.
Just ruins Scooby-Doo for you forever.
Yeah.
All right. And
I mean Ruby Roo.
yes.
They're very different.
Completely independent IP. So last
Legally distinct.
yes, Raggy will move there. Ruby Roo will rejoin him, and my turn is done.
All right, Spoopy. There's a bat in your face, squeaking and flapping.
I mean, the bat's about half the size of Spoopy, but yeah.
It's quite large.
And Spoopy's quite small. All right, so Spoopy is going to pull out his quarterstaff and try to thwack the bat out of the air. So this is a +7. That's another 2 for a total of 9. Does it hit?
9 does not hit.
9 does not hit. Missing the bat, Spoopy will release the quarterstaff and go in for an unarmed strike for his second attack. That's another 2. I've rolled 3 2s tonight. So that's a 9.
So the bat is flying about 5 feet above your head, and you're just like, it just keeps flying up out of your reach.
That is
Comically appropriate.
yeah, appropriate. Is there anything else that I can do as a monk? I don't think there is, because I didn't hit with anything. I suppose I could spend a key point, and I'll use key point and do flurry of blows to do 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus
All right.
action. For a 1.
Man.
So that's an 8.
Hey, at least you're getting the 1s and 2s on bats.
Yep. And I'll take my wait. I make 2 unarmed strikes. Second attack. Hey, an 8 + 7, 15.
That hits.
That hits. There we go. All right. So this is gonna be
It'll take you long enough.
1d6 + 4. That's 2 damage + 4 for 6 damage on the bat.
You punch the bat, and its body explodes, leaving only its wings flapping midair as they comically fall to the ground.
Fascinating.
Seeing Ruby and Raggy over there on that wolf is taken care of. I guess Spoopy is going to dart in and out of cover in these stalls here and make his way across. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Get to here. And that is Spoopy's turn.
All right. Wolf drags away one of the townsmen into the forest.
All right. Yeah, that should come back.
And with your efforts, you are able to repel the rest of them away.
Yep. Y'all see that the one took the poor sap.
Three of them did.
3. Oh. I just hadn't got to the other two yet. I'm just focusing on
I
the
knew
one.
this was gonna happen. An armored figure strolls out into the market. He is wearing a large red cloak and plate armor beneath that. He has the air of a seasoned military official about him, as well as several decorated pins along his coat. He walks up and introduces himself to the four of you. That was handily done. I'm Lieutenant Remus of the Town Guard. With the fog and the mist rolling in out of the Moorheart thicket, I didn't think we should continue with the festivities, however. Magistrate Jack over there, and he points to a rather plump man currently hiding behind the children's table, could not be assuaded. And this is exactly what I said was going to happen.
So you knew that these wolves are out there in the woods?
I know something's out there. A house, a manor that has appeared upon a hill in the heart of the thicket. I sent many of my men out there to investigate, and not one of them has returned yet.
Fascinating.
The Moorheart thicket is not normally like this. It is a dangerous place under even normal circumstances. However, wolves and bats, such as this, dragging people away, it's not right. Something is going on in that thicket. You seem to have a good semblance of fighting capabilities amongst yourselves. I would be willing to hire you to go in and investigate where my men could not. You will, of course, be rewarded with all of the profit funds from the festival today. Isn't that right, Magistrate? We can't exactly... Yes, that's what I thought.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're lucky to have me here. I'd be happy to take on the job. I normally work alone, but these fine figures here have proven themselves worthy, so you may accompany me on this, and I guess I'll split the profits.
And as for me, Captain Remus, you had me at reward and profit. You've got yourselves an adventuring party.
Excellent. You can follow the path that leads through there. It'll eventually reach the hill where the manor has appeared. I'm not sure what dark and foul magic is ensorceling this place, but good luck. And if you find any of my men, bring them back.
Clearly you know that I'm up to the task by my reputation alone.
Of course.
Scooby comes over and sniffs Dan Helsing. Gives him a little once-over. Quizzed look on his face.
What? Do you not recognize me? I know I haven't slept in a few days. I might look a little bit more exhausted than usual, but... Daniel Dansbury. Dan Helsing? You don't? Yep. Well, that's your misfortune, but now you've had the pleasure of meeting me, so why don't we do some fine work together and go and, investigate. Just, don't become a corpse for me to drag back.
You know, now that you mention it, I think I did hear some tales of a Daniel Helsing on my travels. Although
This is Dan Helsing.
I did picture you a bit on the leaner side, but I guess that means that I guess that living as a monster hunter, you tend to live high on the hog, as it were.
Certain ailments, perhaps, have caught up with me of late. Slowed down.
Yes. Good luck now. Good luck.
Right. Sorry.
Leave it to us, Captain. We'll be back before sunrise. The sun even rises in a place like this.
I don't know, man. Creepy castle out in the spooky woods versus staying here nice and safe and having some more pies. What do you think, Ruby Roo?
That pooch of yours took out that wolf pretty handedly. It'd be nice to have him along.
I mean, I'd hate for you to go alone. So,
well, you just stay then. I mean, he can come with us. That's great. If you're afraid, that's fine. I mean,
oh, come now, kid. It won't be that bad. Would you do it for a ruby snack?
Well, Probably. Could you make it 2? One for me and one for Rube?
Tell you what, I've got some trail rations here that I've been nibbling on during my travels. I will gladly share them with you if you accompany us on this little waltz through the forest.
You got a date, mister? Let's go, Rube.
Hey, little albino kid, what's your deal, huh? You silent or something?
I
Spoopy
don't
is
think this
going
one
to.
talks much.
Spoopy will take a moment to act out his origin story. It is captivating.
He puts on a plane pilot helmet at one point. And
Yeah.
goes like this.
Yeah, hops on top of the picnic, starts riding it around like an airplane. Yeah.
I think this one got into the sauce. I was a little bit confused, but I mean, he did punch a bat.
Took him a while.
Took him a while, but all right, kid. And as long as you hold your own out there, then you may all accompany me on this, what is likely to be the just latest addition to the grand tale of Dan Helsing's adventures.
Spoopy falls on the ground on his stomach and starts hitting the ground in front of him as he laughs.
Setting off down the path towards the moor-heart thicket, you struggle to see into the thick mist that has clouded the surrounding area. The ordinary sounds of nature, such as birds and squirrels, are soft, and an eerie chill wind cuts through you. Mechanically speaking, the mist will make everything in the forest lightly obscured, giving you disadvantage on all perception checks based on sight, as well as a -5 to your passive perception when it comes to sight.
Well, ain't that something? Anybody got a way to deal with this fog?
Tell you what, sport, why don't you scout ahead and see if you can tell us what's up ahead on the other side of this fog? And I will tap Spoopy on the shoulder, and I will give him my blessing of the trickster, so that he gets advantage on all stealth checks for the next hour.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
All you got to do is you got to have Raggy say that this fog is as thick as pea soup, and then you see Ruby just take a claw and cut a circle out and eat it like pea soup.
That's right, yeah.
Just keep doing that, and you'll be able to see through the fog.
Well,
so Spoopy's heading up ahead.
I was gonna say, with that blessing, Spoopy will drop down to all fours and crawl forward, and you'll hear the high notes of a piano as he moves forward. You know, exactly. And Spoopy will move stealthily through the fog to scout ahead.
Okay,
You guys hear his feet doing that weird sounds too, or is that just me?
I think you imagined it. I assure you that with my blessing, our little friend is moving quite silently.
Okay, then.
I know, man, kind of par for the course where I'm from.
Sorry, Devin, did you want me to roll?
Did you want to make a stealth check?
Yes, please. Okay.
With advantage.
With advantage. That's fantastic. Well, my second roll sucked. So 13 plus my stealth of 4. 17.
Okay. The chill in the air and the thickening mist become only worse as you near the fringe of the moor-heart thicket. The scant sounds you do hear become muffled. Foliage and shrubs extend outward from the trees, their branches and limbs twisted into gnarled forms. These twisted tree branches stab the air and close in around the path, giving the thicket a claustrophobic feeling. A dull howl of wind echoes around you. Gazing into the mist, you think you can see the thickening fog swirl and coalesce like grasping claws and writhing serpents at the edge of the path. The dim light that seeps through the cracks in the canopy cause gaunt shadows to writhe all around as if alive. And you can also make out horrific faces molded out of the tortured tree trunks.
Gentlemen, I don't think this is a friendly forest. I take out my hand axe. Just have it in my hand.
What is everybody's passive perception?
With or without the fog?
With the fog.
With the fog, mine is a 9.
The fog's a -5, you said?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so passive 12s then.
Six.
I thought I was going to be bad. Spoopy is a 7.
All right. Well, how far ahead is Spoopy from the rest of the group?
How far can Spoopy go ahead and still see the group? Like 20 feet?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so Spoopy's
Five.
probably no farther than that.
Okay.
He doesn't quite want to get too far away from the group and get lost.
So I guess this next thing will only apply to Raggy. Lost in this macabre display, you almost failed to notice the sound of the path being disturbed, and a shout coming from out of the mist as a sword swings to your companions ahead of you.
Zoinks!
Oh dear.
All right, I guess if that's your reaction, well,
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna make my attack roll then.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'll duck.
If him yelling
Uh,
zoinks, does that give us any kind of like, whoa, what's
Potentially, but I missed anyway. So I don't. What I'll do is I won't have advantage. So I'll just
the fog mist.
As the sword swings and cuts through the fog, you see that it is being swung by a black-haired woman covered in blood, ragged clothing. She seems to be wearing chainmail with a filthy and ragged red cloak. She has the appearance of one who has literally looked into the face of hell. And as she turns to realize that you're not, in fact, all horrible monsters, she drops the sword and steps back a little bit with an apologetic stance, clutching at her side where you can see a large crimson stain has begun to pool along her coat, her already red coat.
Well, come now. There's no need for that. We're all friends here. Looks like you've got a bit of a nick on your side there. Would you like me to take a look at that? I'm a bit of a healer.
If you could, that would be wonderful. Sorry, I thought you were more of the things in the woods. It's difficult to see with this mist.
How bad is the gash on her side?
It pretty much would hinder her movements and ability to fight fairly substantially.
I'm going to
hold on there, Stitch. Before you heal this lady, what are you doing out here in the woods all by your lonesome, huh?
My name's Jane Carringford. I'm one of the members of the local watch of the town of Ansby. Lieutenant Remus sent me and the rest of our platoon out into here to investigate the strange goings on. And then you see tears start to appear in her eyes as she blinks them away. We went into the thicket to investigate, but we heard cackling and hoofbeats. I remember seeing blood splattering in the mist, and something slammed into me painfully. We ran. There was howling. My brother screamed. I can still hear it echoing. My side was rent open, and I barely made it into the trees before I stumbled upon you. How long has it been? An hour? Been wondering.
Well, how about we work on unrenting that side of yours, and then we can figure out the finer details of how long you've been out here.
While this is happening, just
you can make an insight check.
Okay, thank you. Daniel Dansbury doesn't trust anyone, especially in the dark woods. Well, I believe her. I got a 7. So. Oh, that sounds horrible. Oh my goodness, I'm amazed you're alive. Fix it up, please. Yeah.
I'm gonna do 2 things here, Devin, because I'm not the most trusting sorts either. I am gonna hit her with a 1st level cure wounds, but before I do that, I am also going to cast Charm Person on her.
Oh,
well, dang.
So that's a wisdom save, yes?
Yes. DC 15.
7.
She fancies you now.
She regards me as a friendly acquaintance for the next hour, and then I'll hit her up with that cure wounds.
Oh, Mr. Wilkins, thank the Lords you're here.
Sorry, did I say cure wounds? I meant healing word. I don't have cure wounds prepared right now.
Okay. Healing word will still get the job done.
Yeah.
Oh, I should also point out that Raggy is super paranoid and suspicious of everything, and his passive insight is 17, just in case.
I take out my two-sided coin and just do a little wave from my hand and be like, "Blessings be with you" for 9 hit points.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, thanks. That feels much better. I think I can actually continue on now.
Now, what was it you said slammed into you there?
I'm not sure. I remember something slamming into me, hoofbeats, cackling, a howl, growling, my brother screaming.
Oof.
Well, Mr. Helsing, this sounds like your area of expertise. How many critters you know match that description?
I mean, clearly we're dealing with one of these dreaded wolf horses. You know, they grow pretty large with the fangs coming out, and they got
Are those things that exist? I had no idea.
the feet.
We're going to need some of this, and she reaches
of
into a pouch and
steed
pulls out a few little vials of what look to be just sloshing water, with very glistening in the dull light. She hands one to each of you.
That's fantastic, man. Listen, I have faced off against the Wolfman, Dracula, the Mummy, and the Headless Horseman at the same time, man. And it's no fun to do that. So, buck up there.
Oh, you had one of those encounters too.
Oh. Wolfman, the Headless Horseman, the Mummy, the Harlem Globetrotters, Steve Urkel, Courage the Cowardly Dog, John Cena.
I was just gonna say that. John Cena.
He's really hard to see though. Can't find him easily.
So she has handed you a flask of holy water.
Flask of
holy each water. Now have a flask of holy water.
Well, I will certainly make good use of this, and I'll tuck it in my breast pocket. Do you still swing that sword of yours, or do you need more of a top?
I think I'm okay now. She reaches up and clutches a silver necklace that she wears. Looks to be a locket as she pulls it out and opens it to show you. This is my brother. If you see him alive or otherwise, please let me know and point him out to me.
Certainly. So now, if he's dead, you want us to bring back the pieces or just like?
I'd rather not think about it. To be honest.
Sure. All right.
So she shows you a picture of herself and a man that looks similar to her, but with really long, bushy sideburns in the same outfit, the red cloak and the chainmail armor.
I like this gentleman's facial hairstyle. He's got good taste.
Yes, I like the cut of his jib.
Must have seen a picture of me. And
he's quite proud of his mutton chops, yes.
What did you say was the name of this lad?
Corvus.
Well, not to worry. We'll be sure to bring him back safe and sound.
I can go with you if you want.
Well, I don't know if you have anywhere to be in the next 59 minutes or so, but perhaps it would be best if you headed back to the town to make sure that they are protected in case any of those beasties come running back while we're not there to protect it.
In that case, here, and she takes off the necklace and hands it to you, just in case you forget.
Not to worry, miss. We'll bring him back safe and sound.
So she hands you the silver necklace, kind of takes her sword, slings her pack, and with a nod of appreciation, she starts to head off back to town.
Before she goes, can I do just a quick inspection of her wound to see if I can figure out what caused it?
Yes, you can. Would you like to make a medicine check?
Sure would. Here goes, man. Oh, it's just an 8.
So I will say it was not a clean cut. It was jagged. And looks, can I tell weapon versus not with an 8
creature? Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty nasty. Maybe just head on back to town. Don't eat all the pies on me though, eh?
So DM Daniel, who's really not stealthy in the least, is going to attempt to kind of to the side, very stealthily, take a sip of that holy water without anybody noticing, and like,
What is this John Candy ass paladin?
You want me to sleight of hand that or stealth it or?
I like the idea that you are doing everything in your power to do it, but it's very obvious.
Considering that I have a disadvantage on stealth, and yeah, it's like
Just kind of swish it around like mouthwash.
Yeah, and you finish, and Ruby Roo is like right there watching you. It's like,
never can be too careful, you know.
okay.
You continue down.
Sorry, no,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially when you find yourself in strange woodland. It's like these ones.
Are you feeling okay there, sport?
I've never been better. This is my element. I'm quite at home in places like this. We should get on to
Where's the little furry one? Let's see what he's found on his little scouting mission.
Oh, I hope he's not dead already.
As you continue down the sullen path, begin to feel as if you're being watched. Looking around, all you can see is grasping mist, twisted trees, flickering shadows, and lights. Off in the trees, just off the side of the path, are bobbing lights like those of torches or lanterns held by humanoids, moving in what seems to be a march or a procession.
Well, I don't like the look of that, man. How close are we to that spooky castle, anyway?
I agree with your assessment.
What do you fellas think? Should we hang back, maybe see where those lights are headed before we decide to interact?
Are the lights going in the direction we're going, or are they coming away from where we're going?
They're going away from the direction you're going. They're moving as if like torches or lanterns of like a small group of people.
I think there's two possibilities of what that could be there. Could be some of the locals have decided to investigate things in their own terms, finding loved ones and, pitchforks and the like. The mob mentality, more often than not, they all kind of die. But could be that, or it could be some unwholesome undead army with glowing eyeballs and flaming skulls and some more of them wolf horses.
Well, hold on a minute there, Sport. If they had glowing eyeballs, then what would they need the torches for?
Could be their heads that are on fire. I don't know. I've seen some pretty crazy stuff.
Right, well.
You ever seen a skeleton with its head just burning at you?
I look over at Scooby.
Crazy thing.
Kid, you've still got my blessing. Why don't you go take a look ahead and see if you can get a better look at our new guests?
Spoopy will raise his hand up. Give you a nice salute.
Give me a stealth check.
Before he goes, I will cast Pass Without Trace on all of us. So that is a...
well, crap.
That is a 30-foot. I have to stay within 30 feet of me to get the effect, but plus 10 to your stealth.
With that blessing, do I get advantage on my stealth?
Advantage and a plus 10.
Yep.
And a plus 10 as long as I stay within 30 feet. Can I get close
I now
to
have
these?
not disadvantage, just normal.
How close does the group want to get to these lights before they send you off?
I don't know.
30 feet further away than how far Spoopy's getting, I guess.
Yeah. So you don't have the plus 10.
Okay. All right. But I do have advantage. So stealth. That's a 2 and a 9. So I'll take the 9. Stealth plus 4, 13.
Oh, you lucky son of a...
Ready to go.
Close but no cigar?
No, he's lucky. As you approach, you see that peering out from behind one of the trees, you just see lights. They're just lights, just bobbing. Nothing attached, nothing around them. Just spherical, glowing lights. Little crackles of electricity arcing out of them every now and again.
All right. Spoopy will sneak his way back to the group, and in his best mime, he's going to teeter back and forth, trying to replicate the movement of the lights. Maybe some paws coming up and going like.
That doesn't look good to me, man. That doesn't sound like friendly villagers.
DM, question.
Mm-hmm.
Were I to use comprehend languages, would I understand Spoopy?
I'd be okay with
I
that.
mean, he's not really speaking any language. Is
He is. He's speaking ASL or whatever.
Body language. Oh, that's true.
In that case, I will.
Yeah, I'd allow that.
All right, so I will cast comprehend languages on myself then. And what's that, Spoopy?
Well, Spoopy in his mannerisms, I suppose, is saying to you, there are lights ahead that are attached to no bodies that are just walking along on their own.
Floating lights that are just hanging about in the air, moving about. Now, would any of us have any inclination as to what these
Make
might
a
be?
religion or an arcana check.
I will make a religion check.
I'm trained in religion, so I'll go with
That's
12.
a 19.
Not book smart over here.
15 for Spoopy.
I'll just sit back and listen to see what information.
My
you
my
folks have.
deity whispers the answer in my ear.
Yeah, so you heard, of course, of will-o-wisps, or will-o'-the-wisps. Floating,
yes.
dancing lights that attract unwary travelers to their doom.
I've seen these will-o'-wisps. They are enchanting things that if you pay attention to them for too long, you will follow them and it will not end well. I suggest we ignore the lights and continue the other way.
Let's go ahead and give those a wide berth then.
Yeah, let's willow walk the other way.
Indeed.
Passed out trace lasts for an hour with concentration, so I will keep it up.
Sounds good.
I give Spoopy like a pat on the head, just like very, very like condescendingly too, just like
For reference, Mike, you needed a 12 or higher.
Yes. Avoided our first player kill. Yes.
That would have been rough. Will-o'-wisps are pretty brutal. They kill you. They just kill you.
Lovely.
The thicket grows more and more dense as the damp creeping mist enwraps you. Darkness settles and silence finally descends. Only the sound of leaves crunching under your boots and the scent of sodden earth fill your senses. Suddenly, the silence is broken by a maddening cackle that echoes across the path. A blustery wind torrents through, threatening to knock you about, and an orange glow appears behind you. The baritone thuds of heavy hoofbeats resound as the heavy wind falters, and another insane cackle pounds into your eardrum.
Wolf horse.
And a creepy witch with it.
Y'all, so you do hear this, okay, it's just not done to me, okay, all right.
Yep.
Axe out, one hand. Clutching a clove of garlic in the other, just like...
I've got my coin out and I'm just pinching it very tightly between my thumb and forefinger, and I've got my cane in my other hand.
Yeah, and I guess
It's not that funny, shut up.
Quarterstaff comes out for Raggy, and I'll cast Shillelagh ahead of time just in case.
Spoopy's got his quarterstaff in one arm and his hand out in the other.
This must be an inside joke he's laughing at. I don't get it.
Who's up in the front?
It's Spoopy.
Spoopy would be.
All right, Spoopy, so you see it coming first as the orange glow gets brighter and closer, and you begin to see a horse as black as the moonless night with a mane of roaring fire. Striding atop the back of this horrific horse of fire and brimstone is a man clad in black leathers with a long cloak flowing ebony and purple. wielding a sword that is shaped more like a scythe than an actual blade. And the most peculiar thing of all is he has no head.
Mm-hmm.
In the other hand is a pumpkin aflame as he rears it back as he nears closer to you on his horse, ever cackling.
Well, let me be the first to say that this is not something that I see every day.
I see it too often, man.
Charles, is that you? Didn't I kill you once already?
What do you do?
Does just Spoopy see this, or do we see it?
You all see it now.
I'll freaking crossbow out and just shoot the dang thing.
Yeah, I think
All right.
Spoopy's just gonna Spoopy's just gonna howl into the night.
We still have. I mean, I'm still close enough to benefit from that pass without trace, right? I'm gonna duck behind a tree.
Yeah, I think getting off the path sounds like a great idea.
I don't think that far ahead, so I just stand there and take my crossbow and shoot the dang thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see where he goes with this.
Now, are you waiting until he's within your... What's your minimum range on that?
100 feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. So you can take a shot. What is... Spoopy, you are standing in the road as well?
Spoopy is going to get off the main road, but not behind a tree, per se.
Okay.
I'm gonna
That's
make
a
a hide.
20 to hit.
Are you aiming for the horse or the rider?
I'm aiming for the rider.
You hit the headless horseman.
Hmm.
For a whopping 2!
I'm guessing this isn't a range.
He laughs harder
Oh,
as he gallops ever closer,
yeah.
bringing his sword down to about neck height.
I will duck.
Just, aha! Your weakness.
Foiled.
What do you guys want to do?
Do you wish to engage or run?
We fighting? What are we doing?
Or hide? Those are your 3 options.
Spoopy's gonna stand his ground. He'll wait for the other group or the other party members to decide. He's gonna stand on the side of the road, staff in hand, other hand out, ready to engage if that's what the party decides.
Give me an initiative roll then.
Okay.
I'm with you, so.
Can I roll initiative from my hiding position?
You certainly can if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I better do the same.
So Spoopy gets a total of 12.
I got 8.
16.
Solid 11.
Where's Torque when you need him?
I don't know what you could be referring to.
Torque's
What's
like
a torque?
Torque is an 18 to 20 on every attack roll. Everything in combat is 18 to 20.
That's.
It's okay, guys. He got a 3.
You did get a 3. So, sorry, run by me what everybody else got. What does Scratch get?
Scratch got a 16.
16. And what did Daniel get?
Daniel got 8.
Okay.
And Spoopy got a 12.
You got a 12.
I had a moment of slowing downness.
All right, Scratch.
Well, now, as much as I would like to split this bounty 3 ways instead of 4, this doesn't seem very sporting at all. So from my hiding position, I'm just going to flip my coin, and I'm going to cast Sanctuary on Daniel.
Okay.
Wow.
So if anyone tries to attack Mr. Helsing within the next minute, they will have to make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. Otherwise, they won't be able to attack him, and will have to either choose another target within range, or the attack just fails automatically.
Sounds good.
Oh.
And since that was just a bonus action, let's see, what else can I do here? I could cast a cantrip. But he's pretty far away. I don't think I will. I think after I do that, I'll cast my sanctuary and then just stay hidden to see what happens next.
Okay. Spoopy.
Really? Spoopy's next?
You got a 12, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. I'm over 10. All right, well, Spoopy would like to make use of his abilities. So Spoopy is going to get into a flanking position with Raggy. So be in line with them. So once the horseman comes in, they can get either side of him. And then Spoopy is going to hold his attack should the horseman come within striking distance.
Oh, why would you do that?
I don't know. We're going to see its intention.
If it is running at you.
I had one idea. Or maybe I won't do that. I guess I will use... Hang on, I'm just gonna read my abilities again, because I always forget how this works. I can use my bonus action to command Ruby Roo to take another action. So he and I will both officially hide. So we're going to both do stealth checks to hide.
What? That seems so out of character.
I know.
Yeah. Retroactively, since I just used a bonus action on my turn, can I use my action to make like an actual stealth check to hide as well?
Go for it.
Cool.
And you are within 30 feet, so you're plus 10, because Paths Without Trace is still up.
Yeah.
All right,
Such a good spell.
Well, that was a nat 20, so that's going to be a 31.
You're both very hidden.
Yeah. So right.
I mean, I don't want to be the one who point out the obvious, but you know he doesn't have a head, right? Like,
Ruby.
But the horse can see.
Man on the pole.
That's true.
21 for Ruby.
Now.
29 for Raggy.
31 for old Scratch.
I don't want to be the one to kill Scooby-Doo. That's not what I set out to do in my life.
You can still
Ruby
hear the
Roo.
sound of castanets from Ruby, but Raggy's completely vanished.
All right.
That was action, bonus action, and yeah, we're just sort of lying in wait here.
So, what is the speed of this thing again? It's ridiculous, if I recall. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Hello.
What? Ooh.
10 will not hit Spoopy.
Nope.
Wolf horse. Wait, it's not a
So
wolf.
the nightmare rears its fiery hooves up as the cackling, maddening, screaming laughter of the headless horseman echoes all around you, and as it slams its hooves down, you just jump out of the way
Oh, not again.
as the blade begins to descend towards you. But Daniel does get a turn before the blade comes down on Spoopy.
Now, had Spoopy readied an action to attack?
I had readied my
He
attack
had.
action.
So would you like to make an attack?
I would like to make an attack. I'm assuming that my 2 attacks, my extra attack, is applicable to the held.
Rules is written no, but I'll allow it.
Okay.
Cool.
Alrighty. So we'll just go 2 punches, and we'll go to the horse, because that is within reaching distance of Spoopy.
Correct.
That's not probably gonna hit. That's a 2 plus 7, or 2 plus 8. Sorry. No, 2 plus 7. So 9 for
That
the
will
first
not
attack. That will hit.
That will not hit.
Will not hit. Okay. And second attack.
9.
Second attack is a 9, plus 7 for 16.
That hits.
That hits. Okay, so this is 1d6 plus 4. So that's a 3 plus 4 for 7.
Okay.
And then, may I use key points? Because it's a held action? It's
Yeah,
your
go
call.
for it. That's fine. Go for it.
Okay,
Tackling is driving me crazy.
I'll use a key point to... Oh, I don't have Stunning Strike yet. Oh, no, I do. When you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 key point to make the target stunned until the end of your next turn. If it fails a con saving throw. So I'll go Stunning Strike, so it needs to make the horse needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
13.
13 is what it needed to make.
Oh.
Oh. You hate to see it.
Yep.
You hate to see
Is
it.
that it
All
for
right.
Spoopy?
That's it for Spoopy, yes.
All right then, Daniel Dansbury.
All right. Well, as this flaming horse and headless rider come running at me, I kind of look at the man and I look at the horse and I go, "Scary. I can do it too." And I will invoke my form of dread.
Ooh.
And I will make my eyes go red and like on fire, like it was all. I'll just go boo and kind of come a little bit bigger. Let's see.
For a second.
So I get an additional 5 hit points, temporary hit points. Why can't I click myself anymore? Oh, wait. Here we go. So I'm going to add 5 hit points temporary to myself there. And I will...
Always love you.
For a second, I really did think, scary was going to be the end of that sentence.
So that
This
was
is
a
too much,
bonus.
man. I'm going home.
When I hit the creature with an attack roll. So any attack roll. So I will... That was a bonus. So I will... I'm going to throw a witch bolt.
That's nice when it hits.
At the horse? Kind of thinking if we take out the horse, this guy's not on his horse anymore.
He's just a headless man.
Deal with.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's not as scary as headless horse, man. Or if he was like part horse and then headless, or had the centaur, maybe. So I'm gonna make a witch bolt attack against the horse for 17 to hit.
17 definitely hits.
Nice.
So 6 lightning damage. And then on each of my turns for the duration, I can use my action to deal another 1d12 lightning damage to the target automatically. And with my form of dread, the horse has to make a wisdom saving throw.
All right. 15.
15, I'm pretty sure that beats my save DC of 14. So
All right.
it is not afeared of me.
Is that it?
I can move still. Are
You certainly can.
Are there trees nearby me here?
There certainly are.
Well, I'm going to move 5, 10, and I'll kind of scamper up that tree
All right.
with strange animalistic ability.
Yeah! You dare fight me, you fight in vain. Scatter, scurry, shriek in pain.
Shut up, will ya?
Does a 14 hit Spoopy?
14 does not hit Spoopy.
How about a crit?
Crit does also not
That's
hit
not
Spoopy.
good. That is
Um,
really not good, by the way.
No.
Is any of this by chance a missile?
No, I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw, sir.
Oh, man.
I have a +1 to this. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I've rolled so good tonight. This'll look. I got my 2s out of the way, right?
Don't die.
Kind of, I think I
Constitution
should put Sanctuary on
save.
the other one.
What did you roll, man?
I rolled a 2
No. No.
for 3. 3 total.
No.
That's okay.
Spoopy's dead.
I have a way around this, but we'll go with it for now.
All
I
right.
did plan with this. With this as an potential. The horseman lowers his blade and with a swipe, cleanly removes the head of Spoopy from his body.
Jeez.
This is your way around it?
Oh,
Yes,
he
there will be a way after this.
Ah.
oh,
That's a lot of damage.
he hit. Oops.
No mercy on this night abides, on Hallows Eve when the horseman rides. Yeah! So Scratch, something that you see is a woman taps you on the back of your on the back of your on your shoulder.
What's this then?
You did. Okay. So you turn, you see this woman. She is dressed in black robes with a pointed black hat, belt buckles all over the place, even in places that there are no belts. And she merely looks up at you with glittering brown eyes. This way. Bring your friend with the head problem. If you want to live.
Bring your friend with the head.
I'll get right on that.
As she points to Spoopy.
Well, any port in a storm.
That is if you want to live, anyway.
Well, I, for one, would much rather keep my head on its shoulders. So...
Good shampoo brand, that.
So eager you are for my blood to spill!
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do.
But to vanquish me, 'tis my head you must kill.
Let's see. So 30 feet away from me. So right here, I guess. I am going to flip my coin and channel divinity to invoke duplicity and make an illusion of myself appear on this side of the horseman.
Okay.
Just saying, like, hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size, you big palooka? And while he's distracted, I'm going to try and move in and collect the remains of our dearly departed Spoopy.
I like to think that in classic cartoon style, Spoopy's tongue is sticking out of his head.
He's got
And
like
that-
little X's
his
for
eyes are
eyes.
X's.
Little X eyes, yep.
So
his
Scratch
tongue
is
I
your
kind of
Particularly-
use his hat as like a kid, like I kind of flip it upside down and kind of like scoop up his head with it and be like, something that just doesn't feel sanitary.
Scratch, as you make your way over towards Spoopy, you almost trip over what looks to be a body, red coat, chainmail, no head.
Why can't be our friend Remus?
Oh,
No, it's likely another one of the guard.
oh.
Well, sorry, friend, but you look like a mite bit heavier, so I'm gonna go with the little one. As I just like I have like the hat with Spoopy's head in it, like in the basket, and then I just like scoop his body up under one arm and try to slink away with my remaining 5 feet.
Go for it. Raggy.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's going to sound like something like this.
Amazing.
We're going to.
Your legs are going to move 7 whole rotations before you actually get going.
Yeah. So that is a move and a dash for both of us.
Towards the creepy witch lady?
Yes.
Okay.
The creepy witch lady is now offering to chop off her heads, right, Rude? Off we go. So, yeah, Ruby's faster than me, but that's okay.
All right, so while you're doing that, the nightmare will attack the clone with a 10 to hit, which I assume does not.
Let's
You're a loser.
see.
You're a loser, I think. Probably has
Is he
more
a
less
loser?
than that.
Hmm.
Or does
Appears
it?
in 30 feet. It doesn't really say anything about it having like AC or hit points or anything. So I think the attack just kind of phases through it.
Okay.
At which point it realizes.
At which point they realize that it is an illusion.
Yes.
So Daniel, you have a turn before the horseman turns his blade on you, although you do have sanctuary.
You have sanctuary, and I'm up a tree.
Yes.
And you are still within 30 feet of me, so past that trace is still on.
I will use my witch bolt that is up to just deal 1d12 lightning damage
Okay, to the horse, yep.
to the horse. So the horse takes. Hey, there we
Oh.
go. 11 lightning damage.
Ooh.
That's good.
Just
That hurts the horse, that's for sure.
Zap. And at that point, still up in the tree. I see that the others are kind of making way to vacate the premises. So I can see Scratch below me cleaning up his spoop.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. You always got to, clean up after yourself, pick up your spoop. It's important. So yeah, don't want to step in that. And I look over and there. Well, I guess they're not fighting. So I will kind of do one of those like leap out of the tree from how I'm only like 10 feet up or 15 feet up, whatever. I'll just kind of like, yo, and like jump out of the woods. And just be like, all right, let's make for the trees.
All right. So you all run to the tree, and with a last act of defiance and a maddening cackle, a fiery pumpkin flies towards the lot of you. So I guess since Scratch went a different way, I'll need Reggie, Ruby, and Daniel to make dex saves, please.
Can I throw holy water at it?
Does he have to make the saving throw because of sanctuary, or
Or how does that work on area of effect?
Let me double check the phrasing on that. Sanctuary.
Threaten to turn it into
Any creature who
spice.
targets or a creature with an attack or harmful spell must make a wisdom saving throw. So
Does it say target?
yeah, any creature who targets the
Okay,
warded
so that
creature.
would not apply to this because he's targeting the ground.
Gotcha.
As the pumpkin smashes against the ground, it explodes into a burst of screaming fire.
14.
Unfortunately, 14 is not quite enough, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, so Raggy also got a 14.
So we're looking at 10 fire, 10 necrotic,
Ouch.
but Ruby only takes half of that.
So I'll deplete my 5 temporary.
Yeah! The horse rears up and fades into an ethereal sort of transparent image because it's nearly dead as you flee into the forest.
And,
Ouch.
hey, my trace is still up. Can I concentrate it to that somehow?
Now, I
That
thought
hurt.
that you said that you fought these things for a living, Daniel. What kind of display was that?
Did you notice it cut the little guy's head off?
I did notice. I happen to be carrying his head right now.
Yeah, so sometimes you just, you gotta make the best of the situation and run away. That's how you survive.
Like,
What I'm saying is, why did we get to the point where this little guy's head was cut off to begin with?
Because he stood there as the thing ran at him with the freaking blade.
Now, I only get so many spell slots per day, and I deigned to use one to protect your hide, and your response was to climb up into a tree.
After I shot the thing in the horse's face and tried to slow it down a bit, did you not see that part where I did the kablam and the kablam?
I
And
did
get
see the kablam.
I did the lightning zapping at it and I went boo. It tried to.
It didn't
All you
seem to
did
slow
was-
him down the same as you thought, because after the kablam, there was also a swish, and then a squelch, and then a thud.
Yes. Well.
And now I'm literally scooping up our comrade, using his own hat as a bucket to contain his remains.
Look, I'll have you know
It's a bit unprofessional, is all I'm saying. Anyway,
If you
what
two
would
are
your
both
name
done, I
be?
suggest we continue through the forest at ridiculous speed.
I'm with the lady. Let's go, man.
If anyone with a higher strength score would like to carry the remains of our dearly departed Pandia friend, please be my guest.
Well,
I've done that a little better if I was on my own. I'm a little more sneaky, but harder when there's a group of us. Anyway. Sorry, what was that, Em? What did we say?
We're running.
Right, running. Okay.
The witch leads you deeper into the twisted thicket, her dark robe seeming to avoid being caught by the dagger-like branches and brambles. She turns and beckons you, an eerie silver light casting her face into living shadow before she steps behind another addled tree and vanishes from sight. Searching around for her reveals several bony hands dangling sickly in the light chill breeze, all of them pointing in the same direction.
Weird.
that's super creepy, man.
I call it my intuition, but I think that she intends for us to go in the direction that these helpful signs are pointing.
Indeed.
I just hope it doesn't cost us too much to get our buddy back up, because I don't know. I don't like where this is going at all.
Better not be an arm and a leg because we've already paid ahead, so we only got so many parts to spare here.
Maybe she'll ask for one of our firstborn sons. What about you,
I don't
Mr.
have
Helsing?
any-
You look like the type that's sown your wild oats, so to speak. Are there any little Daniels running around in the world that we can spare?
That's a really strange thing to ask a person.
Well, it might get us out of this situation.
You're suggesting that I go find perhaps a lost child of mine and offer it? No.
Following the macabre signs, you emerge from the dark trees out into a small clearing in a swamp. A wooden hut
Lovely.
with a thatched roof and rotting fence stands in the center of the clearing. Several scarecrows are propped up all around the clearing, their sackcloth faces glaring at you and their rusty taloned hands creaking in the breeze.
Interesting.
A little bit of smoke is coming out of the chimney top of the hut.
May I use my divine sense
Ooh.
to detect the location of any undead within 60 feet?
Undead.
What a wild thought for a Halloween one shot.
Well, it says of any celestial fiend or undead within
Yes.
60 feet. So yes,
Hey.
one of
You
those
do
three.
not pick up anything of the sort within range.
Okay. Well, looks good. Let's go.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna dip into my Raggy's lunch bag and grab a couple of Ruby snacks for me and the pooch here, because this is looking a little creepy. need a little courage, hey Rube. And I flick one into his mouth, flick one into my mouth. He steals mine too, and I grab his before he snatches it. It's very comical, and off we go.
Into the clearing you go. Who is
Oh,
anyone leading the
Levy.
way, or are you all walking in like a line?
I think I've kind of probably fallen back a little bit. Just like letting the others kind of
Strategic withdrawal. Is
go
it?
ahead.
I'm kind of falling back as well because I'm currently trying to use the mending cantrip to try and reattach Spoopy's head to the rest of his body. Now,
So
hang on. I think I put the dang thing on backwards. 1 second.
That doesn't work. Unless you're trying to make a
Raggy.
scarecrow like one of those ones there.
perfect. And as you point out at that scarecrow, you immediately notice it's a lot closer than it was the first time you saw it.
Oh hell.
James, is that you?
Reggie, you hear creaking of metal in the wind all around you.
Like, I don't want to be too impetuous here, but can we get inside before these things get us?
Yeah, that sounds amenable. Let's get a move on. as just tucked under my arm like a football, I just run with Spoopy into the hut.
All right. So you just barge into the hut?
Yes.
Okay. You make your way. Every time you look back, the scarecrows are closer, and you just keep moving. As you burst into the door, you see 3 women in black robes, pointed black, wide-brimmed hats, all stirring a large, bubbling cauldron. One of them looks over to you as you enter. It's rather rude to barge into a lady's home, isn't it?
Listen, lady, it was super creepy out there. It's super creepy in here. I'm just losing my mind a little bit, so
Hey, blame the trees. They pointed your house out.
We don't mean to intrude, man.
Well,
but
one of them is clearly the one you saw before.
your friend there with the fashionable headwear said that we should swing by this way if we're in need of help.
Yes. We're always on the lookout for more sparrows to add to our collection. Allow us to introduce ourselves. I am Clotho, this is Lakis, and this is Atropos.
Well, let me be the first to say that I think that this was a fated meeting.
Indeed. You have brought your little friend. Excellent. Tell me, why have you come into the Moorheart thicket in such dangerous times such as these?
Well,
Money.
That is the short answer, yes. The long answer is that the danger of the forest is the very reason that we're here. See, Captain Remus promised us a handsome reward.
Yes, my little bluebird. Now, I understand everything that you are here to seek out. You, like us, are interested in this strange mist that blankets the Moorheart. It is strange to us as well. We have lived here for a very long time and have kept to ourselves. This is new. We've been using our magic to divine the meaning to these strange happenings and have gleaned some insight which might be of interest to you should you wish to hear it.
I mean, I'm no stranger to groovy smoke, man, but if you got the skinny, then lay it on us.
Yes. Before we begin, though, our little friend here appears to be half the pandier he used to be.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be dealing enough with that. First, we must exchange some things. We will tell you something that we know, and then we will discuss an arrangement that we have for you. I think you'll find it to be of mutual benefit. This mist is the result of one vampire known as Count Jakal von Antern.
Oh, man.
He seems to be a bit of a planeswalker of sorts, traveling from realm to realm, seeking to add to his collection of specimens. This much we have learned. We've also know that many of the things you have seen in this forest are his minions. One, of course, you've dealt with handily yourself, the Headless Horseman. And you hear cackling in the background and the sound of heavy hoofbeats. You see, he is invincible, as it were, for his life force is concentrated within not his body, but his head, which is hidden from our sight. But that's neither here nor there. We also have been able to understand the weakness of this Count Jakal von Antern, and we will tell it to you, providing that you are willing to acquiesce to a little agreement with us. Chickadees?
So you want us to kill Count Chocula and you get something in return?
As it were, yes.
Well,
that is how it would work, my little crane.
I would say as long as you give me the ample opportunity to read the fine print, then you'll find that I'm amenable to most deals.
You should be more of a crow and less of a raven, my friend. But
what the heck is with you guys and birds? Jeez.
I like to think of myself as more of a kakapo.
We want to observe this Count Jakal's manor house and its internal workings, but we are unable to enter his domain, it would appear. So we will have you do it for us. we shall create a little trinket for you. As long as you wear it and enter into the house, we will be able to see what you see. It only requires a small trifle, really. And as a bonus, we'll throw in the reconstitution of your friend here, so long as they agree posthumously to be our champion.
So the only way you're gonna bring him back from the dead is if he's like becomes your slave or something.
Slave is such a strong word.
You're right, it is.
We're going to make him into our bird's eye.
They like birds a lot.
Well,
Anybody got any dead birds or something you could give him?
I could cast Speak with Dead on our little friend here so that he could...
Oh, I'm sure
potentially-
it will be fine. Although we should say, we do require a reagent for this ritual. We could get it from him, or if one of you is more willing, we require a fresh eyeball.
I don't know about you two, but I kind of like my eyes where they are.
They are quite gorgeous.
In my
They
face.
remind me of a starling.
How fresh are we talking now?
The eyes of your friend will be fresh enough, but presumably they have not succumbed to rot yet.
Hey, them walking scarecrow things up there, they got any eyeballs?
No, they are our guardians. They keep the nasties away, such as our headless friend and various wolves and bats.
Now, quick sidebar here, gentlemen.
We'll huddle
Do you
in.
mind if I just speak with my associates for a quick second?
You huddle in and you look around, and one of them is a scarecrow, and you just, and you back away back.
Now, fellas, before we make any hasty negotiations here, I do have a bit of information which might be useful as a bit of leverage for us. Now, while we were fleeing the scene, I did happen to stumble across another one of our headless friends' unfortunate victims. Now, the body in question was also, unfortunately, San's cranium. However, the apple does not fall far from the tree in most cases, if you catch my manner of speaking. If anyone here happens to be of the rangerly variety, I'm sure that it would be a simple matter of sniffing out the missing dome and returning it, presumably with both of its hopefully fresh eyeballs intact. And that way, both of us get to enjoy our continued 20/20 vision and full depth perception.
So you're saying you want me and Rube to go out closer to the vampire so that we can work with these witches?
If you do it, I'll share my trail rations with you.
You drive a hard bargain, man. All right, Rube, let's roll.
Okay, give me a quick survival check then, and I'll also want a stealth to not get your head cut off.
All right.
Oh, before he goes, I will give him a blessing of the trickster.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
I will also, if we're doing
How long a hike?
like and
is that?
such as, I'll cast Shield of Faith to give just a bonus on AC, just in case anything were to untoward. I'll give it to the dude, not the dog.
All right.
Raggy.
How long were we walking to get here?
Not that long.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so still well within the hour of my pass without trace.
Yes.
Then first I'll roll stealth check for Reggie. Whew.
Raggy will have advantage.
Oh, with advantage, so better. So that's a 29 with pass without trace. Ruby Roo, where are you? 21 for Ruby. So we're pretty sneaky. And then you said survival check.
Yes. Mike, I just sent you something.
God, jeez. Of course, now
your head.
Let me.
So 9, eh?
Well, let me just.
Did Ruby give him the help action?
That.
Actually, I would say yes,
Yeah, the two of us together.
because I'm pretty sure I've seen that scene.
Uh-huh. All right, so better.
There we
17.
go. Okay, so you don't get your nose stuck in a steel bear trap. Okay.
Whew.
You do find a head. It is lacking in mutton chops, but it is of a human.
Okay, so it's not the missing brother, but it's.
It's not Corvus,
All right.
but it does
No,
have a
it's
head
porpoise.
in. Yeah, it is a head in fear. Quick question though: do you loot the body?
Sure, we'll give him a once over to see if he's got any food,
2 potions of healing, some rations, and a vial of holy water.
Another holy water and 2 potions of healing, and the rations are already gone.
Like, he won't need it, man.
It's a long walk back, Rube. Come on.
You
And
just
then
stuck it down
right
his neck hole.
So you sneak on back to the witch's hut. You have brought us an eye.
I mean, I think this dude has 2 of them. Check it out.
We
man.
only need one. And she just reaches her hand and plucks it out of his head.
That's disturbing.
But
They reach down
surprisingly
and-
clean.
One of them begins to weave what looks to be a noose, while the other one drops the eye in the bubble and then gestures for you to throw the corpse in. Of whoever you want to resurrect. I'm assuming you only brought the head back from the other guys. So unless you want some kind of weird monster with a panda body and a human head, you should probably put parts in there.
I don't think Mike would appreciate that much. So
It would cause sheer pandemonium.
you had a good head on your shoulders, kid. Let's try and keep it that way. As I throw Scooby's head
All right.
and body into
Just
the
toss him
velvet.
in.
A wind runs through the
Oh,
hut,
mm.
causing the little bones and trinkets dangling from the ceiling to jangle back and forth as they begin to chant. And it is going to take them an hour to do this ritual, so you will all get a short rest. And while our characters are getting a short rest, that is a perfect time for us to, as well, take a very brief respite to refresh our drinks and snackages.
'Tis indeed. So we'll be right back.
Guys, I died. This is amazing.
I know.
Welcome back. Where we left off, our creepy companions were resting in a house of witches while they waited for their Pendir friend who had been beheaded by a headless rider, known only as the Headless Horseman. And we weren't sure what was going to happen. They had to give up an eye. They opted to get one from some poor soldier instead of doing what Remus told them to do. But that's okay. He doesn't need to know. As the hour...
He was like this when we found him.
Yeah, of course. As the hour
He's
wraps
missing a head. He
up...
could be losing an eye too. Who knows?
Well, there you go. Fair enough. And the witches finish their
Ritual.
Thank you. There is some bubbling and broiling and weird sounds coming from the cauldron as a furred hand just shoots up out of the bubbling tar, coated in green slime that drips all down the side into the floor. And another one comes up the other side, and up comes a fully formed, completely reanimated Spoopy the Pendir.
Like, he's alive, man.
Franken Spoop.
As Spoopy comes up out of the liquid, Spoopy just starts to cackle. Oh!
I'll take that as a sign that you're ready to get back in the fray, as it were.
He didn't do that before.
I'm sure it's fine. So, excellent. Now, around the neck of Spoopy is a noose, a hangman's noose.
A collar.
A collar, yes. And dangling from this noose is a polished, gleaming eyeball.
Gross.
Now, Spoopy.
Mm-hmm.
While you emerge from the cauldron and you kind of look and you see your friends one by one, and you turn to look at the witches, there is a bit of a flash in your vision as you kind of blink and the goo pours down from your eyes. The world seems clearer, a lot clearer than it was before you went down. In fact, it seems like the mist has completely lifted and is gone. There's absolutely no mist here. You can see every grain in the wood panel. You can see every pore on Raggy's face. You can see every hair on Ruby's hide. As if it was a cloudless high noon, clear as day. But then your bewildered gaze rests on the three witches. There, to what your companions saw as soft human flesh, you see as grotesque green with warts coating nearly every inch. Their hazel eyes are not that to you, but instead dark, glossy orbs with no pupils. Their slender bodies hunched and deformed. They grin at you, revealing their rotting teeth, and the smell, the terrible stench of decay hits you like a rampaging ox. Please make a wisdom save.
Oh.
Gross.
And I'm decapitated again.
You get up, your head just falls off.
I rolled a 1.
Oh my god, dude.
Plus 2 for
You
3.
Oh my
goodness. You are terrified of them.
Oh.
So Scooby. So Spoopy will scramble out of the cauldron and hide with. He'll hide over by Ruby Roo.
He has returned once again and will serve our purposes quite nicely. Something that you notice, Raggy, with your perception is that one of Spoopy's eyes has like a little mark in it that wasn't there before. Now then, for our end of the deal, of course, the weakness of Count Jakal von Anton, Lord Vampire of this domain. You see, can be slain quite handily and easily by weapons made of living wood. Still alive, still green. Piercing, preferably.
So we should pick up trees and stab them with them?
As it happens, there is a druid grove nearby in the forest. If you were to go there, I'm sure they would be happy to twist the branches of the trees into weapons that would suit quite nicely. We can give you directions.
Hey, Raggy, didn't you do some sort of like making a living shillelagh kind of whatever that thing was? Isn't that like a wooden something or other?
I mean, I did make a magic sandwich, man, but I think she's talking about something a little deeper than that.
Oh. Okay.
You must go west. There you will find the Druid Grove, and they will assist you. Oh, and I must warn you, our new friend, the Pandir, whatever you do not remove that necklace. Toodles.
Keep the leash on.
Exactly.
They've got one of them invisible fence thingies that if you take it off.
Now then,
Well, they were an odd bunch, but at least they didn't ask for any of our firstborns. Let's get a move on to those.
just an eye.
I gotta
those
ask you though,
druids,
could any of you tell which was which? I could figure it out.
Well, I was counting the buckles
me
on their
neither.
hats to see if there was any discretion there. Maybe the number of buckles suggests
something or other.
the seniority of the witch. We can discuss this on the way. Let's get a mosey on.
I was gonna say,
Hey,
I was too
Scooby, I
busy
found your
looking at the
brother.
door.
Trying to leave my face.
I know.
Is it Spoopy?
The witches were true to their word, and after a relatively short venture through the contorted trees and swirling mist, you come to the Druid Grove. Although as you get closer, you find the grove looks more like a pumpkin patch at the moment. Dull orange pumpkins squat across the pocked land, and brambled vines creep their way across the ground. In the center of the grove, atop a pillar of twisting roots, is what looks to be a sickly green fire, the flickering flame sending writhing shadows dancing about the grove. And to your eyes, Spoopy, and to yours as well, Raggy, you think you can see a head suspended in the green fire, bobbing sickeningly like a rotten apple in pus. Beneath the uneasy flames, you also notice a twitching human hand encased in the entangling roots. Scanning further down, you see a boot and part of a head. People constricted within the roots.
Well, a simple keep out sign would have sufficed just nicely, I would think, but we are in the Grove of the Druids. Let's do our best to respect the cultural norms and play by their rules. Perhaps we should announce our presence so that they know that we are not hostile.
As you announce, you notice some of the green flames writhe up, and it emits sound. A cackling. Very familiar.
Oh,
cackling.
dang it.
As the pumpkins in the patch begin to creak, groan, and burst forth, making their way towards you. And that's initiative.
Of course it is. I think we found his head.
I think I speak for everyone when I say zoinks.
Yeah, thanks indeed.
Son of a-
Scratch only got an 11.
Jeez.
That'll be an 18.
All right, Spoopy's rolling a different dice because my dice are treacherous tonight.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey! That's a dirty 20.
Yay.
What was the
Great,
total? Oh,
that's
20, yeah,
great.
okay.
Dirty 20, yep.
Good. All right.
Nice.
So,
I got an
Spoopy,
18
you're
over.
up first.
Got a new lease on life.
Yep. Spoopy is going to adjust his new necklace
head in this
/
one.
collar. And let's see, what is Spoopy going to do? The last time didn't work out so well.
I'm so happy that happened.
Of course you are.
So I think Spoopy, a little bit spooked from his last encounter, is going to falter just a little bit. He is going to take the dodge action and stay back where the group is standing.
Okay.
And that will be Spoopy's turn.
Daniel Dansbury.
Can we, do I see this head in the middle?
Yep.
I'm not even going to bother with my divine sense.
I wonder.
So,
Boggles the mind, really.
well. Oh. Isn't that interesting? I will, Daniel reaches into one of his many pouches that he has, pulls out a little bell and goes, "Hey, Bonehead, this one's for you." Ding-a-ling-ling! And I cast Toll the Dead.
Okay.
And just make a wisdom save.
He certainly will. 20.
Well, come on. That's not supposed to happen. Jeez. And it doesn't take any damage on it. No, it doesn't take half on a save or anything.
Cantrips, man.
Didn't, okay.
Yeah!
Jeez, that's annoying. So that was my action as a bonus. I'm too. I'm gonna use my form of dread again. So I'll gain my temporary hit points. 7 temporary hit points. That's not too bad.
That's pretty good.
And then I can get it to can add that to my attacks and such. And I can't be frightened. That's part of it as well, is that
That's handy.
I ain't scared to know them.
I ain't scared of no head.
And I will just kind of I'm gonna try and I'll get cover like over here if I can, like kind of by this tree.
All right.
Yeah.
Scratch.
Well, fellas, I for one have had enough of this creepy crawly nonsense for one night. I am going to flip my coin and cast a spiritual weapon adjacent to the Bernie skull in the middle here, one of these spaces here.
Okay.
I guess I have to choose what form my spiritual weapon takes, right?
That's generally how it works, yes.
I'm imagining sort of like the spiritual weapon is Scratch, but like a Punch and Judy style, like hand puppet version of him holding a big cartoon mallet. And so to make the attack, it just goes like, and just swings the mallet. Like, even though there is no hand operating it, it moves as if it's a puppet being moved by somebody's hand. All right, I'll make an attack roll here. Spiritual weapon. Wolf, that's going to be a 12.
A 12 will not hit. As it bobs up and up away from the hammer.
Better luck next round, I guess. And then with my action, I will cast Sacred Flame on the nearest pumpkin.
Okay, which is a dex save. 19.
All right, well.
2 20, nat 20s in a row for me. Holy cow.
Get them out of the way.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
We're done.
I'm just going to go ahead and mosey on behind the front.
So
I was gonna go ahead and mosey on behind the frontliners for protection then.
All right.
Yes, Raggy looks behind. Sorry, who are the frontliners?
All right. The
Whoever's in the front.
pumpkins continue to rise from their place in the grove and make their way towards you. One of them attacks Scooby
We just got him back.
No.
with a 21 to hit.
Stop it.
Now I took the dodge action. What does that give
Oh,
me
you
again?
did, which means he has disadvantage.
Ah.
Yeah.
So does a 14 hit?
No, it does not.
Okay, then he misses.
Stupid pumpkin.
Now, here's the question. Oh, yep, that's 10 feet. Nice. 6 does not hit Raggy, I assume.
No, sir.
Hope not.
And a 18, does that hit Ruby?
Oh, Ruby Roo. Yeah, you got him.
12 bludgeoning damage, and he is restrained
Oh,
by the
that's-
grasping vines.
That double sucks.
So now, yeah, I mean, we've all seen that episode. He's, all
Yep.
tied up, like, whoa.
They're just
The head floating in the back fires beams of fire out of his eye sockets directly towards Spoopy and Raggy.
Oh.
Now, you will both get a +2 to your armor class for cover because there are pumpkins in the way.
Okay.
And he'll still have disadvantage on
on
Spoopy.
Spoopy.
So 7 will not hit you.
Yay.
Is it 20? I'm assuming a 22 hits Raggy.
Yeah.
Raggy will take 9 fire. Now, Spoopy, you watch as the beam flies towards you and slams into the pumpkin directly in front of you, setting it on fire as it burns away the pumpkin, revealing a face of a jack-o'-lantern.
Mm.
And it is now a jack-o'-lantern blight.
But don't burn them.
They somehow become more powerful.
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
That's my fireball insurance.
Ah.
Raggy.
As a bonus action, I will instruct Ruby Roo to escape his grapple. So that is a DC 12. What
Yep.
kind of check am I making here?
Athletics or acrobatics?
Athletics or acrobatics? I think they're the same. I will do athletics. All right.
That'll do it.
He is free. Then, what am I going to do?
It's a good question, no? Look at all those pumpkins.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be turned into spice.
Oh. And look, you're just a head. You just have to kill the head.
Just.
Jinx.
All right. We're both going to move. Don't want to draw a whole bunch of opportunities.
You may have also noticed they have a reach of 10 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
It's too bad because I have Sentinel and they're too far away.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
All right. I'll use my bonus action. I just have an action left. I think I am just going to nope the hell out of here and cast invisibility on myself.
Thin character.
It's like good.
And then,
Yep.
So much for
while
frontlining.
invisible, I'll move to there.
Ooh.
Okay. They do not see you as you are. invisible.
Ruby Roo is super duper hurt. And he is going to...
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, he's going to movement. go in there.
All right. Spoopy.
All right.
There's
Spoopy.
a jack-o'-lantern blight and several pumpkin blights.
All right. Spoopy kind of shakes off the that initial jitters that he was feeling and realizes that he is, in fact, the strongest, fastest, and quite frankly, most beautiful one here. And so he's going to go headlong right here and strike at the non-jack-o'-lantern pumpkin with his quarterstaff.
Time to get your grunge on and start smashing pumpkins.
All right.
World is a
That's a 5 plus 8, so 13 to hit.
Yep.
13 hits.
Seek and destroy.
Certainly does.
1d6 plus 5. Ooh, that's 6. Plus 5 for 11 damage on that pumpkin. So that's the one that's not a jack-o'-lantern. This one here.
All right. Well, how appropriate, because you smashed that pumpkin.
Good job, Billy.
As it squeals and its pumpkin head is crushed inwards.
With Spoopy's second attack, he is going to strike down with that first staff on the first pumpkin, and then kind of backhand the pumpkin that is a jack-o'-lantern for his second attack.
Whack-o'-lantern.
For a nat 1.
That'll miss.
That'll miss. Spoopy will spend a key point, though, because he's the strongest. And he will attack again. Double attack here. A 19 plus 8 with the quarterstaff should hit. So
It certainly does.
27. So this 1d6 plus 5. Another 6 for 11 damage on that one.
And it is destroyed. A burst of fiery glory as it burns away down to just smoldering charcoal.
And then after hitting that one, can Spoopy launch up and land over here and attack that with the final of his...
Yep, you can. That's
All right.
monks. That's how you play a monk.
Yep.
You run around and hit things.
That's an 11 plus 8 for 19 to hit.
That hits.
And...
Come on, deal 11 damage.
Ah, 5! I only rolled 5, so 10.
You didn't get the hat trick.
All right. So I roll... That's a hit, so 10 damage...
Yep.
On that.
So there's a good thwack, and it cracks all along the side of its pumpkin body, but it does not die.
May I do a stunning strike on it?
You certainly may.
So Constitution save.
You're politely you asked
4.
that. May I stun it, please?
So it is stunned until the end of my next turn.
All right. Yes. Oh, I'm fully aware how stunning strike works. It is done pain of
Stunkin'.
DMs. All of you can listen to my White Plume Mountain run at Old Men Rolling Dice, where they stun lock the final boss for the entire fight.
Yep. It is now a stunkin.
Shout out to Baraka.
All right, Daniel.
Kind of torn. He sees Ruby Roo run past, looking pretty rough. Looks into the midst and sees the skull and everything else. He's like, ah. All right. Look a little bit rough there, my friend. I'll give you a hand. And I will... Will I do that? I will use my lay on hands. I will give him 10 hit points back.
All right. That gets him out of the one hit dropping territory.
I gave him a good scritch on the head, give him a good rub and take the leg down. It's like, you stay in the fight here, buddy. We kind of need ya.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna boom, boom. Yeah. Kind of pop up into the trees over this way. And I'm gonna look at skull face thing there. Yeah! Good grief, you're annoying. I will, as my
Perhaps
bonus
the
action-
worms will find you sweet, because you're nothing to me but rotten meat.
That was... Call that a rhyme? I can... Never mind.
Scream, you dogs, curse my name. I'll set
That
your
was a
matchstick souls aflame.
I'm going to, as a bonus action, I'll use my Harness Divine Power, and I'll kind of grab my hidden holy symbol underneath my jacket, and I will regain myself a expended spell slot.
Ooh.
Very nice. I have from there, and then now I have both my pact slots and my paladin slots back, so I'm good.
Scratch Vilkins. You coward.
Don't cower. I simply make a tactical retreat.
In the opposite direction.
I am going to move this way, keeping myself
Walk this way.
minimum of 15 feet away from this jack-o'-lantern, and I will first, as an action, I will cast not a sacred flame. No, you said you had sentinel, right?
I do.
I'll cast sacred flame on one of the pumpkins close to the invisible Raggy there.
8. They're surprisingly not very dexterous.
He doesn't want to run headlong in the fight, so he can keep his head longer.
So he is going to take a whopping 9 in radiant damage.
All right. It bursts into white fire, which does not trigger its ability to burst into actual flame.
Hey.
And then I still have my bonus action, so the Scratch Wilkins puppet is going to take another swing at the burning skull.
All right.
Balls. That's an 11 to hit.
Oh.
Yeah!
Well, at least someone's entertained by all this. Not my best puppet show, I'll admit.
Hi, Dan.
Do any of those get an opportunity attack from Regius, or are you trying to say him?
They certainly can, if he wishes to reveal himself. Does Raggy want to reveal himself by taking an opportunity attack?
No.
Okay.
Fair enough.
In that case, he'll get 2 attacks on Dan and 1 on Spoopy. 13 on Dan, I'm assuming does not hit.
No.
5 definitely does not.
No.
And a 9 does not hit either.
Ha ha.
That one is stunned. So, Fire Ray being shot at Dan and Spoopy. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that the pumpkins are between you and them.
No, not at all.
22 will hit Spoopy.
Yeah.
You take 10 fire damage, and the pumpkin to the north there of Daniel Dansbury will be ignited into flame as while he does not hit Dan, he does hit the pumpkin in front of you. As the jack-o'-lantern face peels back from its pumpkin body. And it is on fire. Raggy.
All right. Talk to me about difficult terrain. Are we talking for Ruby Roo here between him and the flame skull? I mean the flaming skull.
So those are tree branches, so you're fine.
Okay, so he can just he's got a climb speed too, so he can sort of
He can easily get through there, yeah.
Awesome. So with his movement, that's a 40-foot move to get to there. Raggy moves 30 to get to there, or less than 30, 15. I will bonus action cast Shillelagh, and then each of us are going to make an attack.
Okay.
Nice.
What?
So mine is going to be with advantage because I am currently invisible. Here comes the... And I'm going to drop a favorite foe on this craphead. And let's do this.
What a numbskull.
12.
12 does not hit.
That is unfortunate.
This is a very evasive head,
Apparently. All right, Ruby Roo.
bobbing up and down. Oh,
How's
that'll
a
hit him.
16?
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right. And he moved at least 20 feet, so he gets the bonus damage, so that's 11 slash.
All right.
Nice.
Ow! Ah! Oh! Ooh.
And I'm no longer invisible, but I do have my shillelagh up, so I'm good.
All right. You hear in the distance cackling and hoofbeats.
Let's try and wrap this up, fellas. I
Yeah, no
think
kidding.
our friend has unfinished business.
Spoopy,
All
up
right.
around.
Spoopy
Pick out the
is
head.
going to jump up and kick the pumpkin that is right in front of him.
The stunned one, did you have advantage on?
Yep. Does a... Oh, that should hit. That's 21 to hit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is a foot attack, so this is d6 plus 4. That's a 2 plus 4 for 6.
And it is exploded.
And Spoopy will, as he kicks up, he'll basically jump off of that pumpkin to leap towards the next series of pumpkins. He'll land up here. Make his second attack as he's coming down with the quarterstaff, smashing that first pumpkin, hopefully.
The one to your left or the one in
The
front?
one to the left.
Okay.
That's a 5 plus quarterstaff is 8, so
That will not hit.
yeah. 13 won't hit.
A 13? Sorry, a 13 will hit.
5 plus 8. 5.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 8. Sorry,
No,
yes.
sorry.
Okay, no, a 13
5
will
plus
hit,
8.
yes.
13. Okay. So this d6 plus 5. So that's 3 plus 5 for 8 damage.
All right. Crack. Does not smash.
Spoopy will spend another key point to go Flurry of Blows. Spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. So Flurry of Blows. First attack is 8 plus 7, so 15.
Hit.
Oh, that's a 1 plus 4, so 5 damage
That's
to
enough.
that. That's
It
enough.
explodes into chunks of pumpkin.
So that'll be like left fist into that pumpkin, right fist is coming into the other pumpkin. 17 plus 7, so 20.
Is a hit.
Yep. That's that plus 4, so that's a 6 total.
Which hits the one that had already been damaged and smashes it,
Fantastic.
leaving only one left, which is currently a jack-o'-lantern on fire.
All right, so Spoopy will just move up 1 more to get within 5 feet of it in case it attacks something else. And I think that's it. I don't need to spend it. I save
right.
key points just in case I need them for something else.
Daniel.
Much better encounter for Spoopy so far than the last one.
Slightly better,
So-
just a little bit.
With you there, so if I run by and it goes after me, you can use your sentinel on it,
I sure can.
and then yeah, that's good.
Is that what you're gonna do?
So seeing, because it has a reach of 10, right?
It
Yeah.
does, but it can only attack you if you leave its 5-foot area space.
But I'm not in its 5-foot area.
No,
Oh.
if you leave it.
Yeah, so
So
Yeah.
if you run past it, you will be leaving that space
yes,
unless you
then
go
run
around it.
So if I did like
Yeah. So if you do that, you're fine.
that, so that is what I'll do. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the top thing to take.
Reach doesn't matter for attacks of opportunity. That's why I believe.
So that's what I'll do. That path I'm just gonna run around.
Okay.
I'm going straight for the head.
No,
Because
be gone, you fools!
and yeah, I'm kind of grown sick of this stupid flaming skull stuff. So
We'll leave as soon as you're crushed, man.
I'm just gonna pump on. Yeah, I'll just go take out my long sword. As I kind of pull it out, I give it a little kiss. Don't film it now. Crap.
Son of a-
Oh man.
Failed
This,
that.
this
Ah.
head is a dodging machine. Let me tell you.
That didn't work. how
You
I
go to
wanted
thrust and it just opens up its mouth. It goes through the mouth.
Well,
Yeah.
In that case, what I'll do... Right there. Oh. Okay, bonus action. Go to cast. I'm gonna shield of faith myself
Okay.
as a bonus action, just because I'm right up next to it. So I up my AC by 2.
Might as well.
I'm just like, yeah, like, okay, well, give myself a little something here.
Okay. Scratch.
I was gonna pour a smite into that and everything, man.
Oh, he was going to explode. Absolutely. All right, Scratch. You got a jack-o'-lantern blight and the head.
Shoot the head.
Yeah.
I think
eyes, boo.
I think our friend Spoopy has things mostly covered here.
Just saw him like murder 4 of them in a row.
Yeah. What I think I'm gonna
knows
do
how to
is
do
I'm gonna
pumpkins.
quickly move up here, take cover behind this tree in case any of those eye beams are feeling a bit frisky. I'll lean out real quick. I'm going to use my action to cast Sacred Flame on the skull, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to attack it with my weapon, my spiritual weapon as well, because I'm hoping at least one of those will do something.
Well, he got a 7 on his dex save.
Hey.
Hooray.
There we go.
Although he does have advantage on magic resistance. 12.
That'll be 9 radiant damage.
Ooh.
And then my puppet will take a swing.
Something bigger than a 12?
He's not
26 to
laughing
hit.
Woof.
That was a nat
Yeah,
19.
that'll hit.
Nice.
If only I'd upcast it. This is just going to do the second level damage.
The laughing starts to die like in
7
power.
plus 4, so 11 force damage.
Okay. Soldiers, stand and fight. Bring victory on this hollow night.
What'd I ever do to you guys?
The jack-o'-lantern, however, is dumb plant, but knows that if it moves to attack, it will be probably smashed. So it's instead going to attempt to attack its primary threat.
I think it's preternatural instinct
Yeah, so 15 to hit
that a
Spoopy.
pumpkin has.
Nope. Doesn't hit.
Okay. It lashes out at you, and while it is on fire, you try very hard to avoid getting singed.
A pumpkin's natural instinct
So,
is pretty good, you know.
The head's eyes flare up with green fire, and the ground beneath all of you begins to, except for Spoopy, begins to, and I guess also Scratch as well. Yeah, so I guess all of you are around the head as the vines and the ground beneath it begin to shake and emerge up, bursting into flame. I'm going to need all of you to please make a dexterity saving throw.
Dex save.
Well, okay.
Hey,
Oh, for what is that?
sorry, I had advantage turned on, so we'll only use the 25.
Hey, if there's one thing that
Amazing
Raggy is good at,
overall.
it's getting out of dodge.
Yeah, yeah.
15 for me.
And
Wow.
Ruby Roo gets a 22.
Wow.
Wow.
All
Yes.
right, so you all succeeded, so you will only be taking half damage, and then we'll go from there.
Gorgeous.
So you take 13
Oh.
damage, which is a
Oh.
combination of bludgeoning and fire. And I will now also need all of you to make a strength saving throw. Oh, no, you
Oh.
succeeded. Never mind, you succeeded.
So that takes my 7 temporary hit points, and then so only 5 of my
That was kind of his Hail Mary.
current. So
You feel
Hail
the
Mary
fire
didn't
and
listen.
you feel the fire and the writhing vines attempt to pull and push you away from him, but you completely dodge it, so you don't get knocked back either, and then restrained.
That's good.
All right, Raggy.
All right, man, it's time to end this thing. So
Too bad
Finally.
Mary didn't listen to his hail.
I finally have Shillelagh already cast. I've got him marked as my favorite foe. and both of us are adjacent, so we can just wail on this ass.
I mean, I don't want to be too meta, but there might be a new surprise arriving to the fight if you don't kill him on this
Play
turn.
some baseball here, will ya?
All right, so here we go. So Raggy gets 2 attacks. My bonus
certain
action.
body. Somebody.
Yeah.
The wolf horse.
So attack number 1 is 26.
Oh, that'll hit. Oh yeah, you smash that head.
13.
Now.
He's done.
Oh yeah, that's easily enough. He was damaged a lot. And as the head crumbles to pieces, the fire still rages and the little bone pieces begin to sort of meld and slowly begin to recongeal themselves. You still hear the more of a scream than a laugh, and the horse coming real fast.
Hit it again.
Yeah, no, I will continue wailing on it because that's all I can do.
Here's your holy water.
Oh, hey. I've already started my attack action.
Are you challenging me, man?
I would, if you were just to dump it, I'd consider that like a.
Okay, yeah, then yes, I've got extra holy water even, so I'll splash it with holy water.
It bursts into white fire. There's a blinding flash, and you hear the laughing scream turn into a full-on, drawn-out scream, and then silence.
Thanks, man. I didn't even realize that the water was the thing to do.
So if that was the headless horseman, is this the horsemanless head?
Yes.
The pillar that the head was floating above begins to peel away, and you see several long bearded folk in brown robes and carved wooden oak staves sprawl out and start gasping for breath. Our thanks to you, strangers, for rescuing our grove.
Druids, I presume.
Aye, sir. Druids of the Moorheart, Circle of the Swamp. At your service.
Well, we don't have all night, so I'll cut this to the quick. Yes, we did just save your lives.
I don't think that was a good one.
If you could magic up a pointy fighting implement of some sort out of wood that is still alive.
It stays alive
be-
when it's the wood.
That would be ample reward for us.
Ah, yes, this would be quite a trifle. Not a problem. And so they fan out and they reach up into the trees and they run their hands along the edge of the branch. And you see the twisted blackness that has been encasing all of the trees here begin to kind of peel away as it just sort of melts off of the tree. And it's still a living branch. There's no snap or tear or anything.
Gross.
And they form it into a weapon. Now, what form would you like your weapons to take?
Weapons plural?
You each can have one of these weapons. What is your preferred method?
Can it become an axe?
Yep.
I'll take that.
They give you an axe made of living wood.
Awesome.
Won't be too effective against most things, but I assume there are some creatures that would find it quite unappealing.
Well, I mean, I've got stakes. I don't know.
I mean, we've all got stakes.
No, I mean, like, literally, like, he pulls out, like, he's got, like, 10, like wooden stakes. Like, what about, could I...
Steak?
Could I have, like, a living one of these? Instead?
That'll only...
I'd take the axe.
What are you fighting?
A vampire?
Oh, well, as far as I understand, you need to do that once they've already been killed.
I'd take the axe.
Ah, that would
The axe
explain why you
works.
need weapons of living wood, of course.
So what do you suggest? Like, what's best to stab?
Whatever your preferred weapon is, we shall form it into
Axe.
wood.
I got axe.
Yeah, me and the little pooch there, we'll take some quarter staffs.
Ah, yes. Men after our own heart. And they just pull a branch and hand it to you as is.
Beautiful.
That's a gnarly staff.
It is.
Wouldn't suppose you could top up me and Rube here with some extra
Our magic
healing
is
mojo?
quite faded from our imprisonment. And the land is sick and ill, and it drains our energy.
Not to worry, I'll patch you folks up once
That's
this
all
is
right,
all
we
done
found-
with.
Hey, you know what?
I can help you a bit,
sit
too.
on your mojo. We found some extra juice on the when we were getting the head.
Well, that would have come in handy earlier. Well, I guess it come in handy now too.
Yeah. So these are potions of healing.
Sure.
So one for me and one for Ruby Roo. So that's 2d4 plus 2, right?
Spoopy will approach the druids and put a hand up and start wrapping his hand with imaginary tape.
So they reach out and just kind of peel bark off of one of the trees, and then with sort of a flick, they wrap it around your hands. And it's weird. It's like still green, and you can feel it kind of this sort of the life energy in it still.
Would you look at that?
Scratch walks up to the druids and says, "Now I've got an interesting proposition for you fellas. Now, if this isn't feasible, let me know. But I take out my holy symbol, the two-faced coin, and say, now, I'm not sure in your travels if you've ever heard the expression, don't go taking any wooden nickels.
All right,
I'm not much for the
goddamn wooden nickel.
Thank you kindly. I'm not too much of the sword swinging type, so this suits me much better."
Fascinating.
Good luck to you on your travels. We shall begin to undo the damage that has been done to the Moorheart.
Hey, you want to tell the forest not to attack us or anything while we make our way there?
We will do our best to keep all threats at bay from you.
Cool. Oh, and if you got any birds, keep them away from the witch's hut, eh? They're all about birds.
They did seem to have a weird fixation on birds.
It's weird. Bunch of crazy birds they were.
All right.
Wouldn't stop raving about them.
Oh,
Grow on and on and on.
I forget.
Spare us a few.
I always forget what playing D&D with Craig is like.
We play like every week, man. Come on.
You just kind of have to let them.
I know, but
run out of steam.
You're way more unreserved when you're a player.
True. That's true. That's very true.
All right. What did I just do? I just messed something up. There we go.
Oh, we win.
There we go.
Hey.
Okay. You follow the dark, winding road through the disturbing environment until finally the mist spills out of the thicket to swallow up the road behind you. Ahead, jutting from the impenetrable woods on both sides of the road, are high stone buttresses looming gray in the fog. A huge iron gate hangs on the stonework. Dew and frost cling with cold tenacity to the rusted bars. Beyond the looming gate stand a tall house, a manor of very Gothic architecture, atop a hill. Its windows are dark, and it has a gated portico on the ground floor. The rusty gate is closed shut. Thunder booms overhead, and a flash of lightning briefly illuminates the scene as heavy rain begins to follow not long afterwards, forcing its way through the thick, overbearing canopy.
Thank. A lot of people try to live in places like this. What manor of house is this anyways? Jeez.
I don't know.
So, front door?
Yeah, let's just get in and out of this place. This is creeping me out, man.
Cool. Hey, Spoopy, can you do like a flippity flip over that gate and open it from the other side or something?
Spoopy will,
just don't,
Spoopy will
land
scoff
on
at that comment and
you
do
know.
a flippity flip over the gate.
Don't land on the
Roll the flippity flip.
That's fine. You can just do it.
Okay.
You're a monk. Of course you can do this.
don't land on the top if you get the point.
The rusty jeez. The gate's rusty hinges shriek when the gate is open. Oil lamps hang from the portico ceiling by chains, flanking a set of oaken doors. Dark. What is this? Darkly stained.
You should use some of that oil on the gate, man.
I was just thinking the same thing. Hey, what was this guy's name? Chuck or something?
Count Jakal von Entern.
Count Jack-o'-lantern. Okay.
Correct, yes.
Cool. All right.
Didn't pick that up the first time.
Hey, yo, Jamal, you home? Time you leave this place.
Are you opening the oak doors?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so.
The oaken doors open into a grand entryway. The sound of rain becomes muffled as you enter. Hanging on the south wall is a portrait of a stony-faced aristocratic man with a pale complexion. Mahogany-framed double doors leading from the foyer here are set with panes of stained glass.
Anybody else really want to break one of those? Is it just me?
I mean, petty vandalism only gets you so far, man. Let's just get in here, get the guy.
It doesn't count. It's a vampire's place. Vandalize the heck out of it. Probably make it better.
I just want to get back to town and start eating pies again, man.
Yeah, all right. This place is weird.
Yes, why don't we go with our usual strategy? I'll put my blessing of the trickster on Spoopy so that if any need for him to scout ahead presents itself, we'll be ready for him.
I'm gonna take longsword in one hand, hand axe in the other, the living wood one, and just like double weapon it.
Dual wielding, oh yeah.
And I will.
Are we trying to be sneaky here? Because I can do another sneaky thing. If
Did you hear the way that door creaked? I don't think sneaking is gonna help us here.
All right.
I'm just going to be rolling my new wooden coin just between my fingers like Jack Sparrow.
That was loud enough to wake the dead, if you know what I mean.
All right.
Unfortunately, I'm all too familiar now.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
will,
kick the door.
Two prep things. I'm first going to cast Long Strider on myself.
Okay.
And second, I will cast Shillelagh just to have that up and running.
All right. And who's opening the doors?
I'd give it a kick.
Okay.
Hi.
Beyond the stained
home.
glass doors is a wide hall running the width of the manor, with a black fireplace at one end and a sweeping staircase in the other, carpeted in blood red carpet. Mounted on a wall above the fireplace is an ancient-looking sword with a bat cameo worked into the hilts, with the wings of the bat extending outwards on both sides of the hilt. The wood-paneled walls are ornately sculpted, and the decorative paneling follows the staircase as it circles up and down to other floors.
I'll pause and take a moment to reach out with my divine sense.
Undead.
Within 60 feet?
Undead within 60 feet.
All right. I kind of put a hand up to the I was like, hey, we got some previously living, not so dead things around us pretty close. So, I mean, figure already knew that, but just, they're here, they're nearby. So,
Are you sure you're a professional monster hunter?
how do you think I just figured that out? I got a sense for these things.
Loopy's gonna turn around and give Dan Helsing a little glare, and then point to himself.
Do I sense that he's
not undead.
Nah, you're cool, man. A little weird, but that's it.
I didn't know that would be disappointing for him.
How long have you been holding that?
Figured I better not overuse that.
That was terrific.
The point is, Scratch, that we got company, all right? In case you weren't sure about it, trust me, my senses are going off, man. They're here. Nearby.
So there is a small closet door, but otherwise there's just the staircase going up and the staircase going down.
Spoopy will
Somebody-
check the closet.
Yeah, see if there's any skeletons in there. Kick that thing open.
You open the closet to see several high-collared black cloaks with red lining hanging upon hooks on the walls.
Ooh.
Spoopy's gonna pull one out and show Scratch.
It's a little long for you, but
Not quite my style, but I'm sure it'll look good on you.
You sure? I think Scratch would be good with your suit, man. Got a nice big cape and everything. And like,
Spoopy will put an arm in each one.
It's a bit ostentatious. I prefer the simpler approach. Makes me more trustworthy and approachable looking.
Spoopy will take off the jacket. That is about 2 sizes too big. Or
I will. Do they look flammable?
yeah, they do.
Anybody got flint and tinder?
There's a fireplace right there.
That's true.
There is. Very nice fireplace with a very nice sword above it.
I will take a torch. Leaving that sword alone. I'll take a torch. Actually, I got a tinder box too. But I'll light a torch in the fireplace, and then I'm just gonna like stick it in the closet and close the
Okay.
door.
You now have committed breaking, entering, and arson.
Yeah.
this is a wooden house that we're about to burn down.
Yep.
Love it.
Have we seen anyone wearing cloaks like that before?
Nope.
No. Interesting. All right, dudes. Are we going up or down?
Well, I could always flip a coin, seeing as I have this shiny new one here.
We'll see. Depends on what sort of vampire this count is. Sometimes they like to be in the basement where they can keep their coffin in someplace kind of secluded.
Yeah,
If he's got enough bravado on him, he might be like on the kind of the upper floor in a big old bedroom, right, with the coffin kind of out in the open. So, I mean, what are we thinking?
Is he a creepy crypt guy, or is he a bellowing from the balconies kind of guy?
And that's a little bit cryptic, isn't it?
I don't suppose your sense tells you what direction.
Fortunately not. It's kind of just an all-around thing, but screw it, let's go down.
And how do you intend to go down?
Oh, did not see it
We
down? I
send
thought I saw it
Spoopy
down.
ahead with blessing.
No, there is
Trickster.
a down. I mean, like, are you just going down the stairs? Are you jumping down? Are you rolling? Are you sliding down the stairwell? Like, what method?
Well, I mean,
are
I
you
thought
taking?
we were gonna do like the ding, 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 ding,
Oh, yes,
you
of
know,
course. I guess what I should say is, are you making
Obviously.
stealth checks or not?
Spoopy will stealth down ahead of the party.
Sounds good to me.
I have disadvantage on stealth and a 1 to it, so
Maybe I should give you blessing of the trickster.
I was gonna say Spoopy as he walks past Scratch is going to give him some eyebrows, like,
I'll tip my hat. Make us proud, kid. Just try to keep your head.
on.
so is that a blessing of the trickster?
Yes, it is blessing
Okay.
of the trickster.
All right.
If that wasn't clear.
Wow, that was horrible. That's a 3 and a 4. So I'll take the 4 plus 4 for 8.
For 8, eh?
You
Ugh.
find the one creaky
That is,
stair in the whole staircase.
Yeah, that is not particularly good.
Nope.
So
Pretty sure he already knows we're here.
you make your way down the stairs, and
Yeah, we're not
as
super
you
far
do,
behind.
no, you're not. The stairs open up to what looks to be a basement with a large room filled with alchemical components and strange metallic contraptions. A large slab sits in the center with a giant of a man laying upon it. His features are gaunt, and it appears he's either sleeping or dead. The overpowering scent of formaldehyde and noxious chemicals assault your senses, but, Spoopy, with a flash and a blink of the eye that you hang around your neck with the noose, as you gaze at this this figure on the slab, you do not see a large man. You see several people that have been dragged away previously this day by wolves, as well as one or two people with red coats wearing chainmail, all mushed together in the shape of a man. Next to this man is a weird-looking creature, a big hunchback, spider eyes on one side of his face, a mouth coming out of his chest, and crab-like pincers in one hand. He turns to look at you as you come down, and he stares at you for one split second before, must, and he starts making his way towards a big lever on the wall. Now,
Stop him.
You do not get surprised, so it's going to be up to initiative.
Oh, jeez.
boy.
Please roll high. Please roll
Don't
high.
let him get the lever.
Oh.
Yeah.
15.
15.
Oh,
Garbage
no.
initiative all night.
I got 15.
Likewise, my scratchy friend.
So he got an 11.
I cannot believe I have already jailed 2 dice tonight. I just rolled another bloody 2. So Spoopy got a 6.
Maybe it's not the dice.
Mr. Helsong, let me handle this, if you be so kind. I think there might be a way to solve
What
this
did,
with minimal bloodshed.
What did Helsong get?
I got 15.
15? Okay.
And oh, sorry. Yeah, I was already. I'm already in there.
Oh, you're already in there.
Myself.
Sorry. What did
Yeah.
I guess what did Scratch get?
Scratch got a
15.
15.
15.
I have a +1 to my dex, so
So do I.
All right, so Scratch or
Yes.
Daniel, either of you are welcome to.
he has.
Mr.
requested-
Helsong, do you mind if I take this one? I have an idea which I think might be useful.
Take it away.
Okay. I'm gonna step forward and say, there's no need to be pulling any levers. I mean, you no harm. Let's just talk this out. Like, civil folks.
Master. Good
Ian.
Ian, listen.
I am a Fiona tiefling, and so I am going to cast suggestion.
Okay.
He has to make a wisdom save.
Ian, he named the hunchback after you.
I noticed.
With crabs. With crab hands.
That's a fail.
All right.
Hey.
I was gonna say, hang on now. There's no need for any of that. What if instead of pulling that lever, you just helped us on our way? See, we're trying to find the master of the house. Could you show us to his boudoir?
Master beat me. Master beat good Ian.
It's true.
That is quite an
It's all
injustice.
true.
If you could lead us to his usual place of skulking about.
It always same. Master come down here. Me say, yes, good master. He say, hello, Ian. And then he beat me.
That is quite unfortunate. Now, if you
Count
could show us
Jack
where
on the
your
drink.
master resides,
Ian.
we could very much discuss with him more equitable ways to treat his employees.
Mike, we're in here somewhere.
Mhm.
There's Count Jack and a hunchback named Ian. So somewhere in here, there's, yeah.
I mean, it's the best name you can do because you can say, hello, Ian.
I'm basically casting suggestion with the course of action of my suggestion being take us to
Okay.
Van Lantern.
He so you see him twitch and struggle as he reaches his non-clawed hand into his jerkin and pulls out a stone inscribed with a rune and shakingly puts his hand out towards you.
Now there's a good lad. See, I told you that we could
It's
solve
like his-
all this without a
His
problem.
claw arm like grasps his own arm and he kind of like looks at his claw and looks at you and looks at his claw and you see it like twitch slightly like he's about to scissor his own hand off.
Now, see how
not betray master.
we are not betraying him at all. Now, we just want to have a word with him is all. And maybe we can put in a good word so that he'll treat you with a little bit more respect going forward.
No,
Because
no,
obviously you're doing it.
No.
This laboratory is impeccably kept. I think that, if anything, after our discussion, you may find yourself with a promotion.
No,
Okay,
must
great.
pull lever, must wake scab, must bring in methods.
No, I don't think that you need to do any of that. I'll just be taking this, and after we have a word with your master, we'll be right back, and we'll let you know how that conversation went.
Suggestion lasts for like 1 minute, or is it? Not a long
Let
time.
me see. As long as I concentrate, it could last. As long as I concentrate, it could last up to 8 hours.
Oh wow, okay.
So I take the stone from him and say, "By the way, how will this stone help us find your master?"
Keystone, open door, top floor.
Thank you kindly. All right. Well, you
No,
heard
Ian gonna have face smashed like pumpkin.
Let's get a mosey on to the top floor then, shall we?
Just for reference,
Yeah,
there
that's me
are
twice, man. Let's
there
go,
are
bro.
doors in this laboratory as well. There is like 2 doors as well that you.
Do we see this lever?
Yes.
Where?
Right there.
Right
Oh.
there.
I don't hear footsteps going upstairs, people.
I have a.
That's because I'm already ahead of you, man.
I think we should make that lever non-functional.
Well, I can keep this one under our thumb for the next 8 hours or so, as long as we leave the
Sure,
room
but-
before he pulls the lever. I don't think that there's any reason that we need to go messing with things that we could potentially set off and, completely defeat the purpose of everything we've done here thus far.
I mean, I'm already up the stairs, man.
I like visibly twitch like. All right, I'll leave her alone.
But new masters don't hurt Ian. Would you like soup?
We'll swing by for some soup on the way back.
Dead people in it?
Thank you for your hospitality.
Dead things.
No.
And I will make my way up to the top floor.
Dead things. Dead
All
faces
right.
in the soup. Faces in the soup.
An old
Faces or
family
feces?
recipe. And here's a bit of the old family.
Faces or feces? Which one? A little bit of both.
Us.
Oh, things are there.
All right. So you head on up to the 2nd floor. Lit oil lamps are mounted on the walls of the elegant hall. Hanging above the mantelpiece is another wood-frame portrait of the pale aristocratic man. Standing suits of armor flank wooden doors in the east and west walls, each suit of armor clutching a spear with a visored helm. There's a crash as glass shatters and a howl as emerging forth from the window is a humanoid of fur and wolf countenance bursting into this hall on all fours, howling, scraps of red leather and cloth dangling off of his largely muscled body as he growls and foams.
Wolf, man.
You think this might be one of
Now,
Captain
Spoopy.
Remus's?
Spoopy, you don't see a wolf man. You see a very feral-looking human with large mutton chops foaming at the mouth. Wearing tattered red clothes and scraps of chainmail.
Oh. I
I don't know if you've picked it up yet. You have true sight.
Yes.
Okay.
Spoopy is going to tap Raggy on the shoulder to get his attention. And do his best impression of one of the town's guards. And point at the werewolf.
I mean, I understand the wolf man used to be a man, but now he's a wolf man, man.
Well, hang on. Maybe it's just a matter of reminding him of his humanity. I'll take the necklace, the silver necklace, with his picture on it.
Mhm.
I will give it to Spoopy and say, Maybe if you show him this, it'll remind him of the man he used to be.
That you, Corvus. Corvus. Hey, Corvus.
We met your
Corvus.
sister tonight. She's mighty worried about your well-being. Wants just to make sure that you're doing all right.
She's
Spoopy,
alive.
what are you doing with that necklace?
Spoopy will slowly walk down the stairs and get to the bottom and hold it out. Kind of like
All
so that
right.
it's dangling from his paw.
Daniel is like absolutely like scratching and like itching. He's like,
Quarterstaff in the other hand as he's holding out that paw.
And
All right.
Maggie is gonna get out some ruby snacks.
Oh. In that case, you can make persuasion with advantage.
I was gonna try animal handling if I could.
I'm fine with that.
now see here, Corvus. Me and my
All right, here we go. I understand we all get a little hangry sometimes. Let's try ruby snacks.
Oh, damn. So he kind of like he stares at the amulet. His eyes going wide. He's kind of just
All right.
sitting there, but it looks like you can see that internal turmoil, and you know he's losing.
I have a Hail
The
Mary.
pandeer smells very appetizing
Go.
as his nose starts going.
Werewolves are
drool begins to pour.
werewolves are humanoid shape changers, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna cast because none of us have been hostile to him yet. I'm gonna cast Charm Person.
Ooh.
That's good.
You don't want to
DC
hurt
15 isn't safe. You got a 2?
You did.
See, we're not here to hurt you. We just want to let your sister know that you're still safe and sound.
He sits down and his tail starts wagging.
All right. Feed him the
Gentlemen.
ruby snacks. All right.
May I as well?
Spoopy, do it. Go now. Give him the thing.
I'll kind of walk up to him slowly as well and
Put the
kind of
necklace
give him
around
that
his
like
neck,
knowing look in his
son.
eyes if I can. Just be like,
Sure.
Spoopy will,
I feel your pain.
in an act of monk swiftness,
You know what I mean.
throw the necklace around the werewolf's neck and then back off.
Okay. As the silver touches, you see steam and you hear like a sizzling sound as it and you start to see patches of fur kind of slough off of his flesh. It starts to shrink down, muscles beginning to recede down, flesh, fur pouring back to normal skin tone, and a human passes out on the floor.
Right. Let's make sure that he's all tucked away somewhere safe, and then we can scoop him up again on the way back.
My friends, you did a good thing here.
Yes,
No
and
life
more
for a man
importantly,
to be
we
living.
did the thing that got our asses kicked the least.
Well, I mean, there's that too, but trust me, you helped this man a mighty bit there. Yeah, it's no life to be living like that, caught between two different realities. It's tough thing. So
You sound like you're speaking from experience there, Mr. Helsing. Have you had a
no,
run-in with
nope.
lycanthropy before? Perhaps
Oh,
in
man,
a
I've
2005 Hugh Jackman film of some sort?
No, that was Huge Axe Man, actually. The B version of that, but I've encountered my fair share of lycanthropes. Yeah. Let's go find that vampire, right?
So there are 2 doors on this floor, or you can head to the top floor of the spiral staircase. More holy water.
Yeah.
Does Spoopy believe him with his true sight and his pandeer nose?
With your true sight, I think you absolutely can opt to believe whatever you want,
Okay.
or not believe whatever you want,
Or not believe.
as it happens.
Would he? That's a good question, though. Like, would he? What would he see?
He would see your true form.
Okay.
Is that
Same way he saw the werewolf. in
Right.
his true form.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So are these
Well, I like to
two
think of myself
doors
as
here?
a genuine article.
Yep,
What you see is what
there's
you
a
get.
door to the east and a door to the west, flanked by suits of armor. There's also the stairs that continue up to the top floor.
And Ian in the basement told us that the vampire guy was on this
top
floor or
floor.
the next floor?
The top floor.
Now hold on, guys. You see that painting there? That was in the lower floor too. I read a interesting tale once about what was the guy's name? Florian Black or something. No, it's a portrait of him or something like that was enchanted. I don't know. I'm curious about these are paintings. You want to take a look?
Just don't look too closely. We don't know what is and isn't magic here, after all.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if, some of his life forces maybe attached to these things. Should burn them or something. But anybody got a way to? Hey, you could see things. Your eyes, your new eyes, and the weird one, Spoopy. Would take a look at that painting there. Do you see anything crazy?
Spoopy will take a closer
so
look.
Spoopy, you look at the painting and you notice the eyes have been watching you around the room the entire time. Because it has to be like that. You have to have a painting with eyes that watch. It's necessary. It's a creepy
Why
it's
Dan
a creepy
Helsong's along
Mitch.
here?
Is it like the Haunted Mansion at Disney World where it just looks like a guy in a suit and then like it pans down and you see he's like falling into a tank full of alligators or something?
No, it's literally like full on Scooby-Doo eyes following you as you move around.
And then you see the panel slide back in, right their eyes, like, oh.
No, it's not that. It's actually magic. It's magically enchanted with. So, I mean, I think Daniel was pretty much saying, yeah, he knows you're here. He's been watching you the whole time.
That's what I figured. I just kind of look at him and go,
All right. I think we don't keep the man waiting.
no, he knows we're coming. He's been watching us since we entered this place. Remember the whole creaky door and all that? Yeah. Ain't no surprise. Let's just go finish this, huh?
Let's
All
go
right.
finish him off, man. And
Climbing the red carpeted staircase to its full height, you come to a set of double doors with dusty panes of stained glass set into them. Designs in the glass resembled bats. Oil lamps are mounted on the oak paneled walls, carved with various scenes of skeletons, bats, monsters, and ghouls. Carved into the handle is a runic symbol that matches the one on the stone Ian gave you.
Well, what do you know?
I'm so helpful.
Why don't
See.
you put the thingy with that thingy and then we'll open the thingy.
It seems like the path of least resistance. Who would like to do the honors?
Spoopy will grab the stone, shove it into the symbol.
I guess once you've already died, you're
Spoopy is also the wisest one here, so
I mean, he does have a new leash on life, so
Hey!
Real quick, as we're climbing the stairs, Raggy's gonna muster up some emergency ruby snacks, make some good berries, and let's see how many I get. Oh, it just says up to 10 berries appear in your hand. Does that just mean I get 10?
You can have 10 if you want, yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I will use 10, because Ruby Roo is still pretty hurt. I'll give him 10 hit points.
How are you doing,
Isn't it-
Spoopy? I think you're the only one here that has also taken damage.
yeah, I've died and taken a little damage. So
How much?
I can use my lay on hands. I still have a little bit of a pool.
Who would have
If you wanna
thought that
save
the
his spells out
cleric
there, so-
in the one shot would be the one doing the least amount of healing?
Well, save it. Like I'm saying is I can do a little bit. Like I can give him 5.
yeah, sure. I mean, Spoopy's, I believe it was the fire laser eyes that got him. So he's got a couple of singe marks on him. He's a little bloodied.
All right. Well, I'll give you 5. I'll give you another little scratch in the head.
All right.
Give you 5 hit points.
Thank
And,
you. Much
Hey,
appreciated.
Scratch. You saved that healing. We're gonna need it up top, eh? So
If you say so, pal.
The door opens to reveal a
how did you
master-
know I was? Oh, yeah, right. The whole laying on. Okay, yeah.
The door opens to reveal a master bedroom with burgundy drapes covering the windows. Furnishings include a 4-poster bed with embroidered curtains and gossamer veils, a matching pair of wardrobes, a vanity, and a padded chair. A tiger skin rug lies on the floor in front of the fireplace, which has a portrait of the same pale aristocratic man hanging above it. A parlor in the southwest corner contains a table and 2 chairs. Resting on the tablecloth is an empty bowl and a matching jug. There is a glass door leading out to a porch, upon which you see a tall, dark stranger with long black hair and an immaculate black and red suit with a high-collared cloak.
Oh, nope. Told you, there's a crypt kind, we said it's a basement kind, and there's the ostentatious bedroom kind. Here he is.
I don't think he's heard us yet. Scooby, maybe you can go ahead and get
moves away
drop.
from the porch, from gazing out, turns around and enters in through the room. And he looks at all of you.
Never mind.
Welcome to my home, intruders. Count Jokol von Anselm at your service. You've done quite a mess of my operation here, it would seem.
I'll take
Very
that as a
frustrating.
compliment.
Well, you should. It is not every day that I am faced with such opposition. I have been to many worlds, and it is rare to see such tenacity.
See, here's the thing. You call us intruders, but your whole friggin' castle intruded in this place first, so technically you're the intruder, eh?
Fair point.
Uh-huh. Well, I got lots of fair points for you. Just come closer.
I was wondering if you'd be willing to proffer a deal, an arrangement of sorts. I have lost much in this endeavor here on this world, thanks to you lots, and I would wish to cut my losses. I see no reason for us to continue this paltry game. I will leave, take my mansion and go, and never return to this realm again. And in exchange, you will leave now, and stop mucking about in my business.
Well, that seems a little bit.
Trade.
Well, that seems a little bit too good to be true. We leave, and then you do the very thing that we wanted to do in the first place, which is get rid of you.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Mm-mm.
I become the problem of some other world, and no longer your own. It is win-win.
Now, one snake oil salesman to another, friendo. I feel like there's part of the deal you're not telling us here. A lie of omission, perhaps.
I simply wish to cut my losses.
So you're also putting the fate of another realm on our hands. That ain't fair.
Not at all. I have been doing this for a very long time, and I'm not about to stop because of some upstart adventurers getting a little too big for their britches. I am saving
my britches
your
are
lives.
plenty big. There's room for more pie, and you ruined my festival, man.
Well, hang on a second, fellows. We can still talk this out like gentlemen. There's no need to be resorting to unpleasantries just yet. Can I roll an insight check to see how legit this guy's being?
You certainly can.
Can I help him on that since
You
I'm
certainly
also
can.
proficient in it?
Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
So there's a 16 on the first one and a nat 1 on the other. So we'll take the 16, which plus 7 is 23.
Hey.
You pick up 2 kind of things. Actually 3 things. 1, while he looks to be standing at ease, you notice he's been subtly moving into a combat stance this entire time. He is definitely ready for you to just lunge at him at any moment, or for him to do the same to you if things don't seem to go his way. The second thing you notice is that he actually seems a little nervous. He is definitely trying to cut his losses, but he's also trying to do it in a way that benefits him the best. He's taking a gamble. He's hoping that you will accept his terms. And the third thing you get is that you do believe that he no longer wants you in his house and he wants you gone. And he finds the best way to do that is for him to leave as well. You see, during this time of year across the realms, the veil between worlds becomes thin. And it is a
He's
simple
scared.
matter in order for us to manipulate the strands that map the worlds together and travel. This
He's
is
really
what
scared.
I do. I have accumulated many specimens, spells, and concoctions and relics over the years of my planar journeys. And I am not about to stop today.
Can I shoot him with my crossbow?
You can just
Well-
attack him if you want. You won't get surprised because he is expecting you to attack him.
Hold
but
on.
I figured as much.
Could I potentially just like as he takes a crossbow, just point it down and be like, "Now hang on a second, fellas.
I do
We've
You're gonna,
had
you're
a-
gonna have to try pretty hard to stop me.
I was gonna say
freaking vampire
you're gonna
hunter.
have to like slap it out of his hands.
Like I am a vampire hunter. That's like a thing, and there's a vampire standing in front of me. So
I do believe negotiations have concluded.
Well,
I'm taking a shot at
ain't
him.
that a
All right,
shame?"
let's do it.
Dang it! That's only 11.
So you take the shot, and he just moves to the side, flashes his fangs, and engages, and that's initiative.
So I can't not. Like that's exactly. I'm
It's in character,
vampire
man.
hunter,
You're a
man. I'm
vampire
playing
hunter, and he's-
there's
and he is a
freaking
vampire,
right
so,
there.
you know.
It's like
Oof, I got a 19.
Raggy's
and a vampire
honest.
that I sense is scared. So on top of that, it's like, oh yeah,
That was almost a nat 20.
I'm gonna shoot you, man.
Ooh, a 19.
Also, it's a one shot. We need to fight.
Yes.
So
I mean, you,
I was just hoping that we could kind of get the drop
so
on.
just end the one shot right now. Just go like, yeah, okay, that sounds like a good deal.
Spoopy rolled a 14 plus 4 for 18 on initiative.
All
I
right.
feel like it's fitting though, right? Like the snake also doesn't comes in like, now see here, let's try and work something out, right? And you've got like, and then the
Yeah.
brash adventure just like, yeah, it's great talking, Pam. Like,
What did Scratch get?
I was just trying to coax him into smiting distance for you. Scratch got a 19.
that would work as well, but
All right. I'm assuming Scratch, your dex is probably lower than a vampire's, but let me know what is it.
I mean, mine is a +1.
So definitely then, yes. So he's going to be going first. As he dodges out of the way, the crossbow bolt, he just kind of glares over at you. But Daniel is smart and has kind of kept himself slightly back from the fast talker. So
I
instead,
definitely went around the corner.
Yeah, the vampire.
Now, before you do anything hasty, just remember that I was the one that was willing to hear you out.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
See, my first vampire fight.
He is going to make a grasping attack on you.
So when a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against
Go for it.
the
This is an
attacking
attack.
creature. All right. So this is just a single. I'll go unarmed strike with my living wood brass knuckles.
Yep.
Living wood.
That's cocked. It's too bad. I feel kind of bad. That's a nat 20. The first one was a
Don't feel
12,
bad.
kind of cocked. It was totally
Oh,
stuck on the
right.
side.
Own it. Look at all the bad rolls you've had tonight.
I know.
Own it.
So
man.
nat 20.
Take the friggin' 20.
So what do I roll two
You
two
roll double
damage
dice.
dice? Okay, so unarmed strike. So this is 2d6. So that's a 5 and a 3 for 8. Plus 4, 12.
Damage. Okay, that's pretty
12.
significant.
Damage
So
with the
you
living
punch
wood.
into him with the living wood, and he's. And he looks down at you, and he looks at you. And you know what? He has to make his attack against Scratch, but then I think he's probably going to switch targets.
That's fair.
That is an 8. Oh God. So
Against
Scratch
who?
you against you.
Okay. I put up
Oh.
my cane and just,
He then, with his other hand, grabs Spoopy by the neck and
Yep.
pulls you close, grappling you.
Yep. That hits.
Scratch. You dare lay a hand on Count Jakal von Anton, planeswalker of the multiverse?
Oh, settle down, Jamal. Jeez.
well, since nobody took the first deal, I'm willing to offer a second one. I take out the wooden nickel. Heads I win, tails you lose. I flip, catch it. Would you look at that? Always comes up heads. And I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians.
Oh, for
Ooh.
God's sake.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Don't hate any of
A
it.
lawnmower of
50-foot
justice.
What? And the spirit guardians that surround Scratch Wilkins take the form of his favorite protector. He is surrounded by hundreds of swarming little gold pieces with little angel wings coming off of them, just flying around him, making constant cash register noises. I'll give that a green 15-foot aura.
All right.
So be proud.
Is that it for your turn?
I don't really have a whole lot I can do as a bonus action with that. So that will be all, except I will move. He'll jump up on the bed.
Sure, why not?
To let the others in. To let the others through the door.
Legendary action. He is going to attempt now to bite the Pandir.
Spoopy's already died. Bring it.
A 13.
Does not hit.
That was 2 actions. All right, Spoopy. You are currently grappled as he's attempting to bite you and you're like batting him away.
But grappled, I can still attack with my fists, right?
Yes, you can.
All right.
You just can't move.
I just can't move. All right, so then Spoopy is going to 2 attacks, 2 punches, another nat 20.
Oh my god.
You're so
I found the right dice, guys.
You know what? At least it's all being saved for the boss battle.
Yep.
Okay?
How epic is that, man?
All right.
The 2s you rolled tonight, you're definitely due.
So that's a 4 and a 3. So 7 plus 4 on the first strike. So 11 damage. Second strike is a 16 plus 7. So 23.
Yes.
Okay. This is just one damage. That's a 3 plus 4 for 7 damage. We'll go spend a key point, flurry of blows.
What a shock.
11 plus 7, 18 to hit.
Yep.
That's 3 damage plus 4 for 7.
Okay. I mean, he's still up. I mean, he's a vampire. Like,
Second attack.
although,
That one might not hit. So that's an 8 plus 7 for 15.
that does hit.
That does hit.
Yep.
Though that's only a 1. So 1 plus 4, 5 damage.
I mean, combination, you've done like 30 something at this point.
And then am I still able to do stunning strike?
You are, yes.
So I will spend another key point. And where's my key points? Oh, there they are. So I just spent 2. So it needs to roll a con saving throw. DC 13.
4.
me
I'm
lost your
going
keys
to,
again.
yeah, so he is going to just legendarily resist that.
Okay. And that is basically
Nice.
all I can do.
Try. I have no key for you to manipulate. All right. Yeah. He can't bite, but he is going to attempt to just squeeze. Because, boy, you ticked him the hell off. Just. I don't know if anybody's seen the Castlevania anime. Where Simon just runs up and punches Dracula right in the face. Like,
You
you
must
must
be
be
the
the Belmont. Oh, come on! So much for my
Scooby
epic
dodges.
conclusive boss battle. All right, Daniel Dansbury, go ahead.
Try to leave his head intact, Daniel. I have plans for it.
Now, just out of curiosity, because I'm in close range of him now, a vampire's bite,
Mm-hmm.
certain condition prevent that, cause immunity to it? Would it be like a, you know what I'm saying? You know, where
I like. I like it. I like
I'm
it.
already afflicted with something? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Like Underworld, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
um,
basically, yes. Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna,
Underworld and Van Helsing rules apply.
yeah, I'm just gonna step in and just be like, time to go home, Jamal. And I'm going to use my living wood hand axe to take a chop at him. It's better work this time. 17.
That hits.
All right, so that's going to be 8 slashing, and I'm pumping my divine smite into this.
Oh boy. Well, he is undead, so
In fact, I will make it the thunderous smite.
ooh.
So I am going to deal an extra. Oh yeah, an extra 11 points of thunder damage to him, and he must make a strength saving throw or be pushed 10 feet away and knocked prone.
Yeah, he can do that. Righto.
I know he has a legendary, but
Yeah, but I want all he's gonna do. He's gonna let go of Spoofy, isn't he?
if I knock him back 10 feet,
No, he's gonna resist that.
Okay. But yeah, I just stepped in with like a thunderous crack to just like slash the axe right into him.
He's kind of looking around at all of you. You can
I
maybe
just kind of
tell.
leave it there embedded in.
You're maybe
my
starting to
lean a little
realize
closer.
why he kind of didn't want to do this fight.
I kind of leave the axe in there and just like lean a little bit closer. I'm like, go on, bite me.
Now I think you, Daniel Helsong. This vampire is not putting up as much of a fight as you've seen them do before. He seems
Indeed.
weak. He seems drained. He seems like his power has waned quite a lot. You would hazard a guess that whatever it is that allows him to transport his manner such as this probably takes a heavy toll on his own personal power.
Mm.
And as such, he's not super up to fighting people when this happens.
Which we
Boys.
appreciate.
We got a
Raggy.
weak one here. Take him down.
Come on, Raggy. See if you can do it
Right.
before it's his turn, because on his turn, he's going to do some stuff.
I'm sure he will. So I will move there. Ruby Roo, where are you? All right. Oh, hang on. No, that was 20 in total, so he doesn't get his. All right. So, let's see. I've moved. Ruby has moved. I will do some math. Okay. So I will bonus action let Ruby maul him.
Ruby roll.
Hey,
Oh my
it's gonna hit.
god!
Just kidding.
Now, unfortunately, Ruby does not have
He does
living
not-
wood weapons, so
No.
it is not as effective as you would have liked it to have been.
True.
I should have given him wooden teeth.
Not find a way to give him wooden weapons, however. I'm going to favorite foe this cat. And then I'm going to crack him twice with my living wood quarterstaff.
This day, I will return with an army at my beck and call.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Your
Check on
world
this.
will be plagued.
No, 12's not going to hit, is
12 will not hit him.
it? Second attack. How's 22 work for you?
That will.
So that is
yeah.
better.
7 will not finish him off, however.
I know,
Oh,
because I need to
Well.
hit twice.
At the start of his turn, he will have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, that's probably going to do it, not gonna lie. Even with a success, right? So he's gonna be making a wisdom save, eh? Alright. 12?
Time to roll the dice.
Well, I'm going to legendary resist it if it doesn't work.
It does not.
Okay. So he'll resist, because of course he's going to freaking legendary resist that.
1, 2,
Well,
3.
burning them down.
Now, I do have a question. In order of events, does that spell go off before or after regeneration? Wait a minute.
Technically,
He
it's
took, nah, never
whenever
mind.
he...
Never mind. He took radiant damage from the smite.
Oh,
Yes. So
He does not regenerate.
never mind
oh.
that.
I done smoted him.
Yeah, he's having a bad day. So yeah, he did resist. So you can go ahead and roll your dice, I think, right? Because he takes half.
Let me double check that.
I imagine it has
saving
to
throw.
be.
3d8 on a successful save. Yeah, he takes half. So I do get to roll the dice. Nice.
Roll low, roll low, roll low, roll low, roll low, roll low.
So that's half a 16, so 8 radiant damage.
In a burst of red mist, his body disintegrates, and the mist begins to seep down through the cracks in the floorboards and out through underneath the door and down the stairs.
After that steam, lads. And Scratch will begin to run down the stairs.
I was going to say, Spoopy's chasing after that because there's that monstrosity in the basement.
Oh, yeah. Any steam that we find, I'm going to, like, Divine Smite the steam.
All right. You reach the second floor where you just watch as it goes out and under the door to the left of you.
Yeah, we gotta find his hidey hole, man. Let's do it. Kick in the door. Let's go.
All right. Kicking in the door. Gossamer drapes cover the windows of an elegantly appointed hall with a brass-plated chandelier hanging from the ceiling, upholstered chairs lining the walls, and stained glass hangings depicting beautiful folk playing musical instruments.
I've got like 2 stakes in each hand.
A harpsichord with a bench rests in the northwest corner, and near the fireplace is a large standing harp. Alabaster figurines of well-dressed dancers adorn the mantelpiece. The mist is nowhere to be seen, but it did not leave this room.
I've still got my Spirit
not that you
Guardians
can
up, right?
It lasts for what, 10 minutes?
A minute.
You still have it up.
It's 10 minutes, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Although
yeah. You still have
this
it.
does mean that the concentration on my suggestion for Ian in the basement is now over.
Oh, right.
Oh, crap.
Good. So
Hey,
there's a low,
Spoopy, you
there's
see
a low
anything around
rumble
here?
as the house shakes, and you hear, "What a pain to have to get up."
Yes, we may have to put a pin in that later.
Spoopy, you see anything in your crazy eyes?
So Spoopy, you look into the room and you see that harpsichord actually, so it's like a big full size, kind of like a, you would imagine like full size harpsichord, and you can see that the lid at the top is actually framed with various jagged teeth.
Spoopy will answer the question by attacking the harpsichord with his quarterstaff.
Okay, and
Attacking it?
as soon as Scratch Wilkins walks into the room, it's eviscerated.
Oh.
It like just gets shredded into several splinters of wood and teeth.
I like to think that Spoopy jumped up into the air to come down with the quarterstaff, and before you could, it blew up, and Spoopy just hits the ground.
Good going, kid. You totally exploded that harpsichord.
Spoopy's
Yeah.
gonna give you a side eye, little snarl.
You must have played a real discordant note there.
Is there anything left?
Yeah, I'm
I hate to
assuming
harp
there's not.
on it, but
There is the There is the fireplace, the chairs. There's a harp. You can take a look in the room if you want.
I guess I'll keep walking around as long as I have the Spirit Guardians active.
You can go ahead and we can have a perception or investigation check from anybody who wants to check the room. It's
Oh.
considered
My
one of
divine
it's
sense
considered.
as well.
Oh yeah, there's
Another
undead
item.
nearby.
Okay, I have another act of that, so yeah,
Spoopy
there's
will.
something in the room here still, guys.
I'll make a perception check.
Yeah, same with Spoopy.
Cheap as well. Ooh,
Can I give
23.
Can I give them advantage?
Hey.
while I'm at it?
You mean you got a 23 is good.
Yeah,
I got a nat 1.
There is so above the fireplace are various alabaster figurines, and one of them is actually attached to the mantelpiece. And when you pull on it, fireplace slides away, revealing creaky wooden steps leading up.
Up.
It's a classic, man. Secret passage behind the fireplace. Let's go.
You come to a bare wooden chamber with 6 large stone sarcophagi littered about them, all of them sealed.
He's gonna be in one of these.
All right, let's start kicking them open.
Saying Draugr are going to
Hey,
be in the
Scratch,
rest.
do your walk around thingy, eh?
Yeah, Scratch will I guess, walk around with his 15-foot aura. He'll.
So the stone sarcophagi will probably block that.
Okay, that's fair. I really can't knock you for shutting down my BS. I will keep it active though.
Well, hold on. I have an idea. Hold on.
I will keep it active. Yeah. For those of you that can't see, I'm currently standing in the center of the room, and my aura is covering all 6 sarcophagi.
Can I get? Can I go corner here? No, I can't get away more than 60 feet away from them. It's like could do like a process of elimination, but not gonna work. So
I mean,
let's just all stand by one, and yeah, let's
not do that, because if he comes out of one and grabs us by the throat, and the rest of us are all at a different sarcophagus, then that could be a problem. Let's go through systematically and open them one at a time.
You open them up. I got stakes right here. I got 15 of them, so lots of practice.
All right.
Already
Scooby will come over here by the one with Raggy and start to push.
okay. You open the sarcophagus, and as you slide it open, you see that laying in the bottom is a figure, a desiccated corpse wrapped in bandages. And as the sarcophagus slides open, musty, stale air bursts out and it goes, reaches up towards you. I'm going to have it make an attack, and then you're welcome to close the sarcophagus on it.
Can I stab as it's happening, like as it's coming over? Like,
you can make an attack on it. That's fine.
As soon as they open the coffin, I'm just like, I'm not even waiting. I've got lots of stakes.
So can I get you to then make a wisdom save?
Yeah, sure. I got +4 to these, so never mind. That's a 7.
You are frightened.
I'm immune to frightened.
Then you are not frightened. And you were 1 away from being paralyzed, so congratulations.
Ooh, nope, I cannot be frightened thanks to my undead patron.
And a 10 misses, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, make your attack.
Well, a stake is this is just an improvised, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I would say so.
So yeah, okay. I'm just rolling how do you want me to roll this? Just a
D20 plus your strength modifier.
Yeah. That's a 17 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits the mummy.
And it's a stake.
Does D4.
Does a D4, so
the strength.
This hat is so tight that it keeps like pinching up my eyebrows, and every time I look at the Twitch feed, I just see myself being like making these weird faces because my eyebrows are being like.
I just forgot how to roll. Oh wait, there we go. Never mind. I just did it. Thanks, ADD. There you go.
Okay, 4. So you stab it. It continues to reach up. The bandages coiling around.
Right. Put the thing down.
And I assume you guys slide the sarcophagus closed again.
Yes.
All right. So he's not in that. He's not in that one.
Yep. Spoopy will turn around, start opening up the next one.
Oh, really? Okay. You open it up and you see a pale aristocratic man with many wounds lying peacefully in his sarcophagus. You stake him through the heart immediately. His eyes flash open. Curse you! And he crumbles to dust as the whole house begins to shake.
Oh.
What a pain! Dying less pain, though, than living.
Hey, are those windows?
Yeah, they are.
Let's get out of here, eh?
Well, you folks can go ahead. I'm gonna go and see if our friend in the basement is still alive, because I have some questions for him before we
The house
depart.
is like
The house is collapsing.
the
into
house is
itself.
collapsing.
Oh,
dude.
well, that changes
We need
things.
to
Let's get
out
him
the
Mosey.
window. Let's
So yeah, the whole
They're-
house begins to shake and vibrate as you see wood paneling from the ceiling kind of just crunch downward, and the other part of it just crunch inwards as the whole house appears to be collapsing inwards.
I will
What a shame.
throw my hand axe at the window before I get to it, just like do the pre-break.
Yep, and then
Out the window.
jump out of the window.
And then,
You will be
yeah,
falling three stories.
That's 3d6.
Yes,
I
for
mean,
10 bludgeoning damage.
Why?
So
Cool.
Anything that
I'm assuming you can just take that.
Ow.
I haven't taken any damage so far, so I'm willing to do it.
Say, Spoopy's got slow fall.
I'll say a prayer of healing when we hit the bottom.
I got it.
Spoopy's gonna find a couple of choice sliding spots and slide down using slow fall.
Oh, nice.
And as you all land out down into the forest, you watch as the house collapses in on itself. There is a bright flash as it all congeals in a small bead, and it is gone with just a hill remaining. I
What
assume
shame.
one of you grabbed the werewolf or something, or he's just laying there. We'll say he's laying there. That's what
Yes.
Yeah,
What a shame.
totally.
There's a
He's,
lot
like,
I could have
right there.
done with a universe hopping mansion.
The mist
Oh,
begins
well.
to dissipate and fade away as the trees slowly begin to return back to their normal green selves.
In another
Missed
lifetime,
that.
maybe.
And as you head off, grabbing the werewolf, or at least the man, slinging him over, you look down the path and you can see the orange glow of Ansby just off in the distance. And as you all begin to make your way back for your just reward, Spoopy, you see a woman off in the trees beckoning you forward.
I think without alerting the group, Spoopy will just start walking towards the woman that he sees.
He still has Blessing of the Trickster, so we don't see him leave at all.
And she brings you forward into the woods with her robe covering you and back into the trees. And as they move behind a trunk, they vanish from sight.
Well, that was
The rest of you make your way back to town and are greeted as heroes. The feast is renamed in your own honor,
As is only befitting Danielle's
and
song, of course.
you are given all of the proceeds that they have made up till now. And you
Now,
have successfully stopped Count Jackal von Antern and his plane-hopping manor and his harvesting of the various dimensional realms of the multiverse. Congratulations.
Wonderful.
I think Scratch will make a suggestion when he notices that Spoopy is no longer with us. Well,
Yeah. Ooh.
it seems only right that we should name it after our absent friend who didn't make it here. Now, I did do some talking with our little Pandia friend, and apparently when he was describing his backstory to us, he mentioned that he lost a companion of his some time ago, a little yellow bird that was his closest friend. I say that from now on, this festival of mirth and music and merriment will forever be named in his honor, and we shall call it Woodstock.
With that, we cut to a nice fall scene of the sun rising. Jane Carringford holding Corvus, discussing ways that they can deal with his curse, whether he doesn't have to wear a silver necklace that bites into his flesh the entire time. And off in the forest, the flash of a rune in a certain Pendir's eye compels him to do the bidding of those who have granted it to him as he wanders away, still wearing the eye around his neck, to the cackling of 3 hags with many, many plans.
While the festivities go on in town, you all suddenly see a giant sloth wearing a hat and goggles.
Shaking hands with Corvus.
Hey.
Were you a weresloth this whole time?
Yeah.
We just slow change, I guess. Is
That explains so much and so little at the same time.
I was gonna say, when are we gonna get the reveal on why you suddenly slowed down your speech? Wow.
He was
That's
fighting
awesome.
his weresloth. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that.
That's awesome.
Nothing else needs to be said. Awesome. Well, oh man, Devin, thanks. That was fantastic.
That
We
was
all
fun.
had a blast.
Well,
Thank you for
that was-
playing, as always.
Yeah, some of us got more head than others in it, but you know, it's all's fun and games until somebody loses a Scooby. Thanks for hanging out with us all, and I know it's belated Happy Halloween, but hey,
Only
whenever you're
by
watching
a
this,
day.
only by a
Wishing
day.
you all a very spooky November 1st.
Yeah, Boovember.
For the
Boovember.
15 minutes of it that it's so, and an even spookier November 2nd.
But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. And as always, please, if you like what we do, check out our link tree. Follow us on the Twitter, on the YouTube, on the Podbean, the others, all the things. And we'll catch you next time when we return to our regular campaign of Sea of Souls. But thank you, Devin, for DMing this. And sorry, Mike.
I was gonna say, but before we go, we have to tell everybody that we're doing Swashbuckle-vember.
We do have to mention
Oh.
Swashbuckle-vember. So we did. We uploaded our first Swashbuckle-vember today. We're for the entire month of November. We're going to be uploading some homebrew creations made by each of us here that kind of run the gamut of creatures and spells and tables to roll and all kinds of stuff. So you can check out our Twitter at ElderBrainCast for that. And you can also, I'll be retweeting it on there, and just keep your eyes peeled for that. Some custom content that's just fun.
Every day.
Every day.
Of
Unless
November.
we forget, and then it might be 2 in one day because life. But yeah, check it out. So until next time, scary later.